Jason Amos. I work for a company on a daytime for Lalamont, and part-time I'm also the Vice Chair for Weezer. I'm very, very pleased to be here today. I've been asked to be the MC and moderator, but I think the most important task that I have today looking at the program is I'm going to be the timekeeper for today's program. So I welcome you all physically and also virtually. So we have today from people from pretty much all around the world, in terms of from South Australia. We have people from Victoria. We have also people from the US, UK, and also France, who is joining us today. But to start the proceedings today, I've got some acknowledgements to run through and a little bit of the program. But I want, first and foremost, I want to give an acknowledgement of country, please. And we acknowledge this land that we meet on today is the traditional lands for the Kaurna people, and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region and plains, and their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. We also pay respects to the cultural authority of Aboriginal people visiting, attending from other areas of South Australia and Australia. I'd also like to acknowledge today the financial supporters and partners of FOMENT, first being the Government of South Australia through PIRSA, secondly being Barossa Australia, thirdly being Wine Australia, and fourthly being the Entrepreneurs Facilitators Scheme, Barossa, York and Mid-North. Part of our program today is a final pitch. Some would say an accelerator program needs a elevator pitch. And luckily it's not an elevator pitch, because we are here today at Flinders University only on the first floor. So it would be a very quick pitch on the first floor of Flinders University. So in the room today we have five, or actually no, we've got a couple extra judges here today. But first and foremost, we have Paul Smith from Wine Australia, who's one of our judges today. We have Roberta Crouch from Flinders University, also one of our judges. We have Annabelle Mugford from Barossa Grape and Wine Association. She is joining via Zoom. Hello, Annabelle. Big wave over to you. We have Ron Van Buren from Hydra Consulting here. He was first and foremost here today. We have Sarah Treasure from Barossa Regional Development Australia, also via Zoom. G'day, Sarah. And we also have joining us, a late call-in, is Peter Hayes joining us today. Thank you very much for joining today, Peter. And Matthew Moat, he's also joining the judging panel today. So thank you. Listen, I'd also like to thank and acknowledge all of the mentors, advisory board members, speakers who have been involved in this year's program. This is the second year of the FOMENT program. These programs do not happen by themselves. It is a multitude of people that come together to make this happen. So, and it really is a team effort that comes in there. There are three partners to the FOMENT program. We have the Flinders University New Venture Institute, Hydra Consulting, and also the Wine Industry Suppliers of Australia. And I'd also like to acknowledge the room of the Zoom wall, that I'm going to call it, the Zoom wall there, with all the faces virtually, as well as the faces that I'm looking at physically in the room here today. So I just wanted to give a quick introduction to FOMENT and what is FOMENT looking to achieve. FOMENT offers an intensive acceleration to innovate wine and tourism tech companies who are ready to scale up, and then connects them with businesses in the industry who are positioned to use their product and services. FOMENT is also designed to speed up tech adoption by wine and tourism businesses by connecting them with providers of tech solutions which can make them more competitive, profitable, and likely to reach new markets around the world. So a wonderful initiative where we're able to really join both industry and new businesses that's coming through. The FOMENT program this year was a very intensive 4 weeks. And it was a physical virtual event, so it was a little bit different. And my understanding is we had some challenging time zones and having to work with different tech abilities to make it all work. But it's a real credit to everyone involved, both the participants and also the coordinators and the facilitators to make this work. Now today, our 11 participants are ready to pitch their businesses to our panel of judges, okay? Each of our pitching participants will speak for 10 minutes, and I said I'm the timekeeper today, so I'll have a time and there'll be an axe that will come down at the 10-minute mark, so I will call out through each of the pitches when we hit the 9-minute mark. So if you are presenting your pitch today, I will tell you when it's 9 minutes, so you've got 1 minute to wrap it up. And it's really, really important that we follow to the 10 minutes. And just remember, if it was an elevator pitch, we're on the first floor of Flinders University. So, hey, it's a 10-minute journey, that's it. And then the axe comes down, all right? After the pitch, the judges will deliberate and will decide the winner of the pitch competition will be announced. And at this time, when the judges are deliberating, we'll also be asking the audience to vote for their favourite startup to be awarded the People's Choice Award. So we have 2 awards today. We have the Judges Award and the People's Choice Award that's coming through the program. So there is a online voting system. So those online can vote through slido.com, which is SLIDO.com, and enter the event code #FOMENT2020. Or you can scan the QR code using the camera on your phone. The link and QR code, I've been told, will appear on your screen when it is time to vote. Those that are in the room, we are going to be receiving a FOMENT cork. Actually, I should say it's a FOMENT Amaranth cork. We have to thank Tim Steed from Amaranth Cork for branding all of the corks for us as FOMENT. And Tim would be very pleased that he these voting tokens will be the investment currency that people that are virtually in the room can put into the barrel for their favourite startup in the room. Okay. So that's an introduction. We are right on time. So the timekeeper had 9 minutes. I've gone to 8.5 minutes as the introduction. So the axe doesn't have to come down, which is fantastic. But first and foremost, I suppose our first pitch that's coming through today, I would like to introduce David Carter from Deep Planet. Now, David, I was going to give you a bonus point today because it says in the program you're in the UK, and when I did the maths I thought you were going to get a bonus point because of the time zone, but I now understand that your business is in the UK but you're actually in California, so I'm going to take that extra vote away, so I'm sorry about that. So David, please, you have 10 minutes to work through your pitch of sustainable farming, so thank you very much.
To track water, climate and agriculture. And Sushma's team came up with a similar idea using experience in telecommunications. One of our teams won an award for our submission, and afterwards we were sitting in the pub in Oxford, coincidentally the one that Bob Hawke set his yard glass drinking world record, and we realised that we had similar ideas, and due to each of us having farms in the family, we're passionate about applying this technology from other industries to agriculture. We understand that growers have variable yields, which have been horrendous over the past few years, making it difficult to predict and run business of growing. There have been limited water resources and others, which even if you have water allocations, they're probably going to get less and less. And there's years that even if you have an allocation, you just can't pump water out of the river. So it's becoming more and more critical to make your irrigation count. You're faced with increasing extreme climate events, from frosts early in the season, winds at flowering, extreme heat, and bushfires. And finally, it's becoming expensive to monitor, treat all the vineyards. One tractor pass is worth 100 hectares with fuel, labour, and maintenance cost. So to address this, we created Vine Signal, a prediction software platform. This has been made possible by the explosion of satellite imagery, with more satellites launched in the last 5 years than since the space race began. And in the next 5 years, there'll be 10 times as many satellites in orbit as there is today, truly changing what's possible. We take these millions of images, process them, agronomy models, in-field sensor data, and growers and viticulturalists data, and provide a prediction platform over the web. For those that don't want to use a platform, we provide a weekly PDF to growers to analyze their vineyards. And also, if they already have a platform, we can integrate to those. As we exited Oxford 3 years ago, we got a grant from the European Space Agency to research and commercialize this technology. And our first customers were vineyards in the Hunter Valley. And over the past 3 years, we've continued to develop this technology with subsequent customers who found us through word of mouth and through our research. We couldn't have got to where we are today without the collaborative partnerships with passionate leaders in the industry. After testing our results over the past 2.5 years, we released our product commercially 3 months ago, just in time for the Australian growing season. Our Vine Signal product, a yield growth monitoring and irrigation product, helps first with yield. Traditionally, growers and viticulturalists try to predict yield by manually sampling over the course of the season, walking the fields, which is very labor and time intensive and requires manual calculations and destructive sampling, and often ends up just being a guessing game at best. Maybe 70% accuracy is probably standard across the industry. We provide a hands-off yield prediction that uses regular satellite imagery, proprietary spectral bands, weather, growing cycle data, and other data to predict yield to 90% accuracy 2 to 4 weeks out from harvest, often 20 to 30% more accurate than manual methods. This season, we're also trialing, we call that beta, technology to predict harvest date or when sugar levels will be ready to further coordinate between the winemaker and grower when the grapes will be ready for picking, or at least when the taste test by the winemaker will be able to be done. Second, we help with the oft-forgotten problem part of the vineyard, the soil. Soil moisture sensors have helped to give guidance on what soil moisture is at 1 or 2 points of a vineyard, maybe over 100 hectares. However, they are only 1 point, and people are blanketing their irrigation schemes based on what's at 1 point in the vineyard. We've developed technology that enables growers to predict soil moisture to 93% accuracy for the coming 2 weeks, and not only 1 point, but create a subterranean map down to 1.5 meters. This enables you to know where to target irrigation, not blanket irrigate and reduce your overall irrigation, to push your blocks for increased yield and reduce water usage. Continuing to work with growers over this season, Vine Signal will include dynamic irrigation recommendations for this coming growing season. And thirdly, we help growers regularly monitor their vineyards. We know that growers would love to be in their vineyards more, but only have limited time. For a grower or viticulturalist with multiple blocks or dispersed vineyards to monitor, you can prioritize your time to focus on the vineyards, blocks, or vines which need the most attention. The first image here shows the impact from a frost event fairly recently, from a grower that gets in the vineyard about once a week. They knew there was a frost event over the past week from weather data, but didn't really know where it was affected. They're able to see here the deterioration over the past week where the vines and blocks that were affected. The second analysis is from the last growing season. When we started monitoring this vineyard, our monitoring prediction algorithms went nuts, telling us that part of the vineyard was going to shut down and needed more water when there were 40-degree days coming. Continuing to work with growers, Vine Signal will include disease alerts, nutrient identification, and for the coming growing season. So where to from here? We currently have about 80 users just over 80 users on our platform, about half of them in South Australia. And South Australia has an outsized impact on Australian viticulture. And we want to help the first 3,200 of 7,000 Australian growers here in South Australia, which represent more than 50% of Australia's hectares under growth. Once pioneered by growers in Australia, we want to take this technology globally to viticulture, reaching the 200,000 growers with over 10 hectares and the 4 million hectares worldwide, focusing on the large North American growers in the Northern Hemisphere growing season, and then continuing to adopt over the Southern and Northern Hemisphere growing seasons and cycles. And lastly, to take this to global agriculture, continuing our research to 80 crops, effectively 80% of the world of global agriculture by 2022, and targeting rolling out of this technology to 6,000 of the global 2 million growers as customers by the end of 2025. Embarking on this journey from the pub hasn't been without risk and challenges. COVID-19 timing, we weren't able to travel to South Australia since February. Adoption in ag tech takes time, and reaching the thousands of growers in South Australia, nationally, and millions globally can be a challenge. But COVID has meant that a grower, a farmer, or a viticulturalist is willing to get on a Zoom or WebEx. We hired a market entry person for Australia and created a free tool and trials to let people see the benefits for themselves. And industry associations have been very, very supportive in getting the word out. We talked to most of the large growers. So you probably ask how to get started. Well, you can sign up today. We have packages at 2 cents, 4 cents, or 8 cents a vine to make it easy for people to sign up, depending on the value that they want to get out of it. You sign up, it takes 15 minutes. You send us your blocks, we'll do the mapping, and you can even try out the technology for 14 days. We also even have a free tool for people who want to start getting some value out of technology but aren't ready to put money down for it yet. And if you're still not convinced, participate in the Australian Yield Challenge, where you send us your historical harvest dates, blocks, variety, or yield, and we'll tell you how accurate.
1 more minute to go. 1 more minute to go.
No worries, over the last 5 years. We also have one specifically for the Barossa Yield Challenge as well. So then lastly, in the spirit of Bob Hawke, help us out one more way. If you think this technology is interesting and helpful for the industry, when you're sitting down for a beer, a wine, or a chicken schnitzel with other growers or other people in the industry down at the pub, tell them about the technology, tell them to have a go, take it up, and try out the technology for the coming season. Thanks, guys.
Excellent work, Dave. And
the global reach of your project is quite
astonishing.
astonishing.
I'm certain the judges have some questions to ask.
Sounds good.
I've got one.
Roberta,
Oh, just from a marketing perspective, can I ask why you've called yourself Deep Planet?
Yes, because we're using a couple of reasons. One, we're using deep learning techniques, which is a type of AI to monitor the planet. And really, we wanted to show that we're focusing on the whole planet. And as well as that, we're not only using satellite imagery, we're going into the earth, so into the soil to understand what's going on. So that's how we came up with the name.
Dave, perhaps you could give us an idea of the sort of turnaround time you're achieving with your current collaborators, and if you're going further into the beta testing, what sort of responsiveness do you get for people on the run looking for guidance in the field?
You mean how quickly are people taking it up?
No, how quickly you are able to process and update anything in this suite of offerings?
Oh, yeah. So we, from the moment someone signs up, often we actually go back and look at their last growing season and give them ideas on what's happened in the last growing season and identify problem areas. So typically we find immediate problems for them that they can go to address. And in terms of signing up for the platform, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, then within season, what you're dependent on satellite passes and the
How quickly can you
process image to screen, I guess, to dashboard.
For sure. So we provide by default weekly imagery, or in our kind of medium package, we provide entry level package, we provide daily imagery. So you get an update every day, or in cloudy areas every 2 to 3 days of what's going on with your vineyard. And you can see not only what's going on today, but what's changed over the last week and the last month. And that's really helpful to pull out trends of understand what's going on. And from there, we actually predict out the next week what will happen. So we can kind of see a trend and show what will happen if you don't take action.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Well done, and good luck for the rest of the day. So our next pitch that I'd like to introduce today is Lang Wang from Leading Key Idea. And I really do hope that Tim Steed from Ameren was one of the mentors in the program for Lang, because there's a great link here to counterfeit that's coming through here as well. So over to you, Lan.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, loud and clear, no problems.
Okay. My name's Lan. I'm from Leading K Idea. I'm glad here to take the opportunity to introduce our company and our solution. First of all, I would like to thank the FOMENT team. I think I'm very lucky because I only learned the program on the Friday of the week before it started. And I decided to participate just in 1 minute. In the past 4 weeks with the FOMENT program, I have had the opportunity to see different varieties of different skills and types in different producing areas in South Australia. That gave me a better understanding of Australian wine industry. The comments I hear most from Australian wine people is, we focus on quality, not quantity. But the embarrassing thing is, for general wine consumers like me, it's difficult to identify the quality of wine, just to say, the similar wine label description or the website. Especially this year, the COVID prevents the tourists from going to the cellar door. So no more effective way to engage with your customers. On the other hand, some well-known brand of wine are often counterfeit. I read a report says 50% of banned food in China are fake wine. So how to show the quality to your consumers and protect the brand, I think they become the important issues in the wine industry. Fortunately, with the development of technology, there is a solution to solve the above problem. The digital platform based on the artificial intelligence and blockchain that today I bring to you here is the low cost and high efficient solution. One application of artificial intelligence in agriculture is to let trust run through the whole chain. In wine industry, we only need the web camera and the important moments, including the grapes harvest, the scratching, fermentation, the storage in the barrels, and even the bottling. Those moments reflecting the quality of wine can be recorded. More important, all these recordings can be automatically edited by AI and then generate any video clips for our consumers to trace the wine and for our winemakers to promote the wine. This is a pilot project we did for a new wine brand in July in South Australia this year. Under the circumstance, just that the consumers use their cell phone to scan the QR code and can see all the information of the wine, and more particularly, it can see the production processing of the wine. Is very unique and special. It gives the user a total different experience. It is the proof of the wine production, and I think it makes the consumers trust the wine, especially trust the wine quality. But if the video is not enough, I think the video is enough to trace the wine, but it's not enough to help solve the wine anti-counterfeit problem. So using the same technologies, we developed a hook recognition system to help protect the product. So this is a demo. Just scan the QR code. The consumers can get the wine information and the hook texture information saved in our database. And then by using the cell phone to take the pictures, to compare it with the pictures which were saved, the system can tell you if it's the real one or the fake one. Technology in our solutions is very powerful and complicated, but it is extremely easy for our users. Only cameras with internet access are required for local wineries, and then all the other things leave to AI. Mobile app and web-based user interface are suitable for users in different scenarios. Cloud-based camera solution only require the winemaker to press the camera's power button. The solution is very cost efficient and can be widely used in any kind of winery. We provide different pricing strategy for our customers. The price can be counted by usage or by monthly or yearly subscriptions. And our goal is to achieve 5 pilot customers by this year and 50 customers by next year, and hopefully 10% of Australian the wineries market. That means 200 customers by 3 years. Myself, I am the CEO of the Leading K Idea, and this company registered in South Australia this year. And currently, we have 3 software engineers in Adelaide, and we develop the digital platform in Adelaide, and we provide the local support. In addition, we have an international team. It's our partner companies to help develop the core AI and blockchain technology. The team is led by my good friend, Yonghua Lin. So she used to be the director of IBM Research China and lead the AI system and computer vision research. Her current team, including over 10 experienced researchers and engineers. I think it's worth mentioning her team is also the key contributors for Hyperledger. The Hyperledger is the blockchain technology we used in our platform. And the Hyperledger is also the famous open source blockchain technology led by Linux. In the end, I think I would like to again thanks all FOMENT team members, all the mentors and advisory board members, and all the companies who joined the program. This 4 weeks experience is very valuable and unforgettable. Not only, I think, for my company, but also for my personal growth journey. So I look forward to collaborating with our customers, with government, with our partners to see the quality and to build the trusted Australian wine for the world. Thank you.
Excellent presentation, Len. Any questions from the judges, please?
Thanks, Peter. Just one question. In terms of accessing the cork QR code, must you remove the capsule?
Can you only do that
After
after
you purchased, you have no opportunity to verify before you purchase.
You mean the hawk? We make use of the industry cameras to capture the hawk textures. You know, when the hawk is in the bottling, then we save all the textures, the pictures in our database.
I guess my question
Is
is,
if you as a consumer, oh, they can't see me. You're taking the capsule off and then you're trying to verify the code on that bottle.
So Peter's asking, to take the photo on top of the cork, you need to remove the capsule, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
If still need to
Yep.
uncover the, I mean, the still covers on the bottom, then you can use the camera to take the pictures. Yes.
Matt, please.
What has been your feedback from retailers and distributors in China? Are they willing to pay more for this product if it is certified or trusted to help cover the cost of the implementation by the winery?
And the question was, are the retailers in China and Asia willing to pay more for the authenticity of the wine?
So you mean the retailers and the distributors
Yes.
would like to, yeah. So it's very good questions because, you know, the our first pilot program, now there are 6,000 bottom wine now in China market. So far, all the distributors are very exciting to see the program, to see the technology, because they think it's very good features for them to differentiate this, you know, new brand for the others. So I think because I don't think the retailers or the distributors will pay, because it will increase the sales. So actually all the cost will be borne, I think, on the winery side, not the retail or distributor side. But they are excited to see the technology because they think I think it's just unique and a special approach, you know, to promote in the market.
Thank you very much, Lan. That's pitch number 2 done. Now we move on to... Thank you. Now we move on to pitch number 3 and we go across to Victoria. We are meeting with Bibi and Paul from Air Guides. There's a couple of fun facts from Bibi and Paul. They actually met in a hostel in Cambodia 7 years ago, and they've lived in Melbourne, Netherlands, Thailand, Perth, New Zealand, while growing their company. So if you've got Air Guides in all those different countries, I'm really looking forward to hearing their pitch. And one other fun fact from Bibi and Paul is the founders, they actually ran into Sir David Attenborough in a bat cave in Borneo. So I don't know how you're going to bring that into your pitch, but over to you, please. I look forward to hearing your pitch.
Thank you, Jason. I can never beat that travel story. That was just the highlight of my life. Can I just double check you're seeing my screen? Oh, good.
Yeah, all received okay.
Great. Storytellers have been inspiring people to travel since Marco Polo first wrote tales of the Silk Road. I'm sure you can think of somebody who inspires you to travel. Maybe it's your favorite chef, a National Geographic photographer, or in our case, it's Sir David Attenborough. For the free and independent traveler, travel planning can be hard, time-consuming, and most of the time it doesn't meet expectations. And for tourism destinations in Australia, it is becoming increasingly hard to attract high-value travelers in a super competitive post-COVID tourism market. So what if it was easy to follow in the footsteps of the people who already inspire us to travel? What if trusted storytellers could create stunning itineraries to get people to visit destinations in Australia and increase their travel spending? My name is Bibi, and with Air Guides you can. Air Guides is the first travel company that partners with trusted photographers, filmmakers and chefs to offer unique trip packages. Personalizing each trip, we take care of all planning and bookings, making it super easy for people to book life-changing adventures with just the click of a button. So how does this work in practice? We partner with well-known photographers like Megan Maloney, who is a National Geographic photographer from New Zealand. Megan provides us with content and recommendations for a trip of her choice, and the Air Guides team puts all the logistics behind it. We take care of all planning, bookings, and support. And just to clarify, Megan doesn't physically go on the trips. Our trips include incredible accommodation, lesser known experiences, and reliable transport. We also provide a tech solution, so the traveler has all their travel information in one place. And here you can see Megan's trip in action. This is a customer journey from March of this year. Ashley and Michael, a couple from Texas, followed Megan on Instagram and asked her to help with their New Zealand honeymoon. Megan then referred them to us, and Ashley and Michael trusted air guides to organize their trip for them. Ashley and Michael began their trip planning by being completely overwhelmed with travel blogs and not knowing what was actually the best plan for them. What they really needed was some one-on-one expertise to help them see their vision through and organize it for them. Airguides was able to offer this solution. Airguides trips launched a year ago with 3 of the most trusted photographers in New Zealand. Each of them has built a large and trusting community from around the world. From mostly organic leads, we've made over $50,000 in bookings. Using that momentum, we then formed partnerships with 6 of the most recognized photographers in Australia to launch here at the start of this year. For example, with Sean Scott, who is an official Tourism Australia ambassador with an audience of more than 500,000. At this time, we were also in partnership discussions with 3 state tourism organizations and had grown our monthly sales to over $100,000. This was unfortunately also the point when a certain virus destroyed that momentum. So why is all of this relevant to the wine and tourism industry in South Australia? The Australian tourism market is going to be hugely competitive in the post-COVID environment, and destinations will struggle to attract domestic and trans-Tasman travelers. Here you can see an example trip we're currently discussing with Tasting Australia and South Australia Tourism. South Australia has many incredible storytellers who have the ability to inspire people to visit, both nationally and internationally. I personally still watch reruns of The Cook and the Chef, and if Maggie Beer wants to build a trip with us, I'll be the first to book. For tourism organizations, we are able to deliver unique marketing campaigns in which we provide storytelling content, exclusive trip packages, and conversion data from bookings. Basically, Airguides is able to turn a marketing campaign into enablement for the traveler. A lot of vetting goes into the storytellers we handpick to partner with. All of them have built incredibly trusting communities. When you combine our current 9 storytellers, they have a larger online audience than companies such as Flight Centre. And to give you an idea of the market opportunity, if we were to sell trips to just 1% of their audiences, this gives us a revenue target of $47 million. And this is with just our current 9 storytellers. On average, our trips sell for nearly $4,000 per person, and we sell mostly to couples and families. The Airguides margin on this is 35% because we work directly with our operators and we're able to negotiate trade agreements. Our business model is designed to leverage the reach of our storytellers. Our storytellers earn a commission for every booking, and when they sell directly through their own channels, we give them a higher commission. This is keeping our marketing spend low and allows us to scale much faster. Our next 12 months is to focus on building new trips in Australia and to secure partnerships with state and regional tourism boards to align our marketing strategies. Our goal is to return to the sales levels we had at the start of this year and grow our monthly revenue by 20%. Key to our growth is avoiding large aggregators who charge very high commissions and optimizing our sales through our storyteller channels. This allows us to scale without directly competing with large travel companies in marketing spend. During COVID, we've been able to build out many strategic partnerships to help us scale. It's no surprise that the tourism industry has large competitors, each with multi-million-dollar marketing budgets. This is why we have designed Airguides to compete in its own niche market. Similar to how Masterclass took over the mundane world of online learning, Airguides is planning to capture the market of travelers looking for the most unique and immersive holidays. Together with my co-founder Paul, we have built and grown Airguides since 2017. We have gone through a pivot and listened closely to our customers to achieve product market fit. As a team, we received seed money from Telstra through Muridi, And we also graduated from Lightning Lab Tourism and lived in New Zealand last year, working closely together with the local tourism industry to launch Airguide trips. We're also lucky to have Jordan on board, who's been with us since the start. Jordan served as CTO of Viator, which is now a TripAdvisor company, and Katie is the latest addition to our team. Our team's unique skills and industry expertise have allowed us to create a business model that combines profit and purpose. And we are more determined than ever to grow Airguides and scale our impact. Currently, the biggest risk we've got is the uncertain future of tourism, making it very challenging to plan ahead. People feel sorry for us when we tell them we run a travel company, but actually, we see COVID as a huge opportunity for Airguides. Unlike larger travel companies, we've been able to quickly readjust our business operations to focus on preparing for the Trans-Tasman tourism bubble, and we have the luxury of tapping into the networks of our influential storytellers. We joined the FOMENT program with a single focus: to build the best food and wine trips in South Australia and inspire thousands of high-value travelers to visit. We are specifically looking for introductions to influential storytellers who would be great ambassadors for food and wine themed trips in South Australia. These could be chefs, winemakers, or other people from the local food and wine industry. We would also love to help you with your next Australia or New Zealand adventure. Check out our website, airguides.com, and please feel free to contact me directly for a special FOMENT discount of 10% on any of our trip packages. Airguides was built with the vision to make travel better for everyone involved, and this reflects in everything we do. That is why our trips have a strong focus on responsible tourism and promoting regional destinations. Please reach out to me if you would like to chat further, and please don't forget to support the Australian tourism industry this year. They could really use your support. Thank you for listening.
Well done, Jimmy.
The FOMENT program went up to the Barossa for quite a few days. We actually have two guest judges that are in the Barossa via Zoom. I'm thinking they're asking how many photos were taken up at Mengler's Hill that we can bring the tourists up to the Barossa as part of this program. I'm asking, is there any questions by the judges? If Annabelle or Sarah have any questions, please take off your microphone and ask away.
I
I'm interested in what you see as the competition.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
question.
Can you pass it on?
The question from Paul was, what do you see in terms of the competition, your competition?
What they're doing now as a reaction to COVID? Is that more the question?
In general, really.
Yeah, so I guess what we're seeing, a lot of companies are providing virtual experiences now to give travelers still that ability to dream. Tourism Australia is focusing a lot on domestic tourism, preparing for when the international borders open. And we're seeing Airbnb experiences, of course, is another one that we look up to. Intrepid is a company that we really respect because they do a lot of work around responsible tourism. Intrepid is really focusing on domestic guided trips. So we think our best bet is to focus on those independent trip packages as told by our storytellers. So focusing highly on domestic travelers, and as soon as the borders open, attracting those international visitors.
Okay, Roberta.
I guess following on from Paul's question, I don't think there's very low barriers to entry. So how will you keep your brand unique?
So we do a lot of vetting around our storytellers. So our IP, if you will, is the relationships with our storytellers. So Pa and I have done a lot of work gaining their trust and proving to them that we can sell. So actually our own personal North Star for our company is to earn our storytellers the equivalent of a full-time wage. So how we can stay unique is through those relationships and making sure that our trip packages are as authentic as possible.
Roberta has a follow-on question.
Yeah, just quickly then. So obviously you're going to tie them to you. They can't then be a storyteller for somebody else, right? They're yours and yours alone.
That's the deal.
Yes, yeah, well, they still work together with other tourism boards, for example, or we can't, at the moment, we are the first company that offers this model. So if there were competitors out there that would hunt for our storytellers, then we have VIP on those trip packages. And I guess we have built such trusting relationships now with our storytellers that we feel quite comfortable with those.
I'm going to add in a question here. Roberta, yeah, I'm thinking something like Tasting Australia, where they're talking about chefs and regional experiences and storytellers through Tasting Australia. I would see that as, you know, either in partnership or in competition between the two. Is that the question that you're putting, Roberta?
It's kind of a cooperation.
Yes.
Which is the new sort of buzzword where you're competing and cooperating at the same time. But if you have a unique storyteller and you're offering them very good wages, you wouldn't then want them to be storytelling for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you look at celebrity, this is really a celebrity endorsement strategy or influencers. So usually a celebrity is tied to a brand.
Yes.
And they don't get to then go and endorse somebody else in the same category.
Yep.
They may endorse outside the category, but not within it.
Yeah, Volvo doesn't play with Mercedes and vice versa.
Well,
Yeah.
they can go and do tennis rackets if they want, but they can't do cars.
Matt.
A question from Kim Brown at Getaways SA in the audience is, how does Air Guides choose the operators that they work with, and how does that work?
Yeah, so we focus a lot on locally owned and operated suppliers. So we definitely prefer to work with those directly. So in New Zealand, we have the luxury of working with photographers who have done a lot of work in tourism. So because they are local storytellers as well, they actually know a lot of the tourism businesses already. So a lot of them come with recommendations for the trips. And then we do a lot of research ourselves into making sure that the operators are the right operators for us. So we're definitely more looking for those lesser known, unique experiences. Glamping experiences is a big one for us. And yeah, as mentioned, those locally owned and operated is our preference. Aboriginal and Maori experiences is also a huge focus for us. So we definitely do a lot of work in picking the right operators for us.
We should definitely talk to Kim next week.
They're one of the most awarded tour operators in the state.
Bibby and Paul, well done. Great presentation, great pitch. I now have in the program a 5-minute break. So a round of applause for Air Guides. Now, technically, we're coming back at 2:59, so I reckon that's enough time to go to the bathroom, come back, grab a glass of wine, and you come back and sit down. How does that sound? Jeff is from Going to Places. Fun fact for Jeff, it says here in my notes, Jeff, that you used to have a career in stand-up comedy. Is that right? So I'm looking forward to this pitch. So, all right, Armando, we'll come back to you after Jeff, okay? So we'll swap you two around. Yep.
Peter Piper picked the pack of people pickers.
Perfect, you're all good.
And then you just need to stand over
On the other side.
On the cross, so in front of the camera.
Yeah, thank you.
I was once at a police station where I did this.
Worse when you're in customs.
There we go. Yeah, I know. I didn't have a uniform either. Thank you very much. Is that all going? Yeah. That looks like that's working good. Awesome. I'm Jeffrey Denning from goingtoplaces.com, and it's been a pleasure to come along to FOMENT. I have really enjoyed it immensely. The machine's just going off on me though. Wine Australia tourism. Our market problem we identified is there's 65 wine regions in Australia in the 6 states. There's no single platform for wine buyers or travellers combined. So what you're dealing with is you've got a mixture of platforms which are mostly government operated, or you've got booking.coms and your Expedias. There's no collaborative selling platforms which sell wines. For example, your government situation, the government sites, they can only take bookings for accommodations through TripAdvisor. And TripAdvisor and booking.com, they do not sell wine. And Armando is not part of my program, but he's a really very intense person who wants to buy a ticket. He has been wanting to shop with me for so long, but I'm so generous with the fact of it, that the individual wine producers and regions are all doing their own thing, much like the internet is in America at the moment. And what you have is when everyone is not cooperating in a massive industry, it's about everyone getting along like a herd of cats. They all want to go and chase the mouse. They all want to get along and curl up in the cushion, but they don't get the opportunity to work together and be profitable. And the internet has been alone for a long, long time. There's a lot of businesses that still do not use it properly. They rely upon your bigger platforms and they don't market themselves individually like the motels and hotels did in the 70s and the 80s, which is the last century. They had to get out and they had to promote themselves much easier. Our solution is joining the dots. We integrate a system. It's an ecosystem which we developed ourselves. It combines websites, apps, and the social media. And we connect up the operators in the wine industry and the tourism industry with the consumers. We are a middleman. What we do is we develop a platform which brings the people in and they find the experiences and the things that they're looking for. Creating a platform which is a collaboration between the wineries. And you're stronger when you're working together for Brand Australia. It's not Brand New South Wales, Brand Tasmania, Brand Barossa Valley, Brand McLaren Vale. It's Brand Australia. We are the 7th biggest wine producer in the world. Our tourism was up at $8 million prior to COVID hitting us. We then will value add to the wine consumer's experience by adding the mechanisms within our platforms so they can engage with the brands and their backstories when they visit the regions, and they can book their associated accommodation. One of our start points that we have included is, particularly with wine, is to incorporate a great tool that's been invented, which is blockchain. It's just part of the oil of our machine. And we are a business. We don't have many wine customers. We actually have 2 wineries advertising with us at the moment. That is, of course, Woodsoak Wines and Carrata Wines down at Robe, where I'm from. But yesterday, one of our jobs came to fruition. 2 years ago, we met the people who own the motor inn at Mount Gambier, and we first introduced ourselves, and they said they had their plans for the vision. 3 months ago, I got connected with another associate of mine who's a builder. He said they want to go ahead with it. Can you put together a digital package for them to promote their winery? I'd already started working on it on spec with them after I met with them 2 years ago. Wineries, whether it be a hotel or a motel, for a motel, having an individual website, you're competing against every other individual motel website. So you'll go to booking.com or Expedia because you think it's easier, but you've got to pay your commission. But how about this? We gave this hotel an entire region because they're putting a 4.5-star motel in there. It's a $6 million investment. What we give them is the opportunity through their platform that we built for them to not only promote their own hotel and all the experiences in the region, which their 4.5 and 5-star customers are coming down to enjoy in their buses, they get to book them through the platform. They also get to book other experiences and entertainment through the region and other people who are coming to the Limestone Coast, which happens to be the 2nd most popular international destination in South Australia. They can also book other accommodation through it. So this hotel now not only gets the booking from their own money without paying a commission, they get a commission from everybody else who books through that Limestone Coast platform. It is ambitious what we're designing to do. We've decided to look at the country as a whole. We are a united nation, but we've phased it and we've de-risked it by starting with a prototype and then scaling up. Because that's what we do. We are a business that's in a growth stage. We've decided to move into wine and tourism. But we're starting with an existing solid infrastructure, the goingtoplaces.com ecosystem, and attaching to that our booking platform. Our artificial intelligence-based platform partner, which is Trade AI, that's South Australian based. They're a commodities trading partner, which we've managed to take their engine and turn that into a booking platform as well as an experienced sales platform. We're using a global blockchain platform provider specialising in food and drink supply chains into China, which is VE Chain. In the United States, we have a specialist in customer engagement and a platform which allows consumers to share data. We're actually capping in on not only just selling money, but also selling data with our business. Goingtoplaces.com does have platforms out there. We're not starting from scratch. As I said, we're starting from a stable platform. We started with this one here, Robe, South Australia. 2016, town of 1,400 people. That is still a major contributor with our advertising sales to motels, hotels, wineries and experiences in the region. I saw the vision within a month of doing that because I built these platforms myself. I now hire people to do the work for me. We did the Barossa Valley, we did Kangaroo Island, and we own the Great Ocean Road app platform. 22 million bed nights a year. and that's part of our global ecosystem. In 2019, we launched the South Australia platform with a website and an app. And we are good at what we do. We did get a product commendation for our design for tourism, for the Going to Places tourism app. And this year we're a finalist in the IT information technology for the Champions of Small Business in Australia that will be decided in November. South Australia app did of course go along quite well for us until a little thing happened. We were looking very good there at the beginning of the year, so we had to slow down. Fortunately, FOMENT came along and gave us something else to work on for development. And as you can see, it does get its use. We have there with our downloads that we've had, it was just tracking along very nicely. Most important thing is how long the customers are spending in our application, 5 minutes. They're not just flipping in there and going out. They're getting engaged with what we provide with all the experiences. And we don't just cover tourism in this, we cover 144,000 businesses in South Australia. We pivoted in January. Why be just tourism? There's 18,000 businesses. Let's do every business in South Australia that needs to get digital sales happening. Your local electrician, your local mechanic, your local winery. So we keep working on what we do. We have a very simple platform when it comes to tourism. You want to go on a holiday. There was 8 million domestic wine and holiday customers last year, but we're targeting 2.4 to 3.1 million people using our domestic platform of promotion through Facebook and Instagram. We're going to put them coming through into our Wine Trails of Australia platform. Then we go to the 6 states and the 65 regions. We've got 2,400 wineries, 287,000 tourism businesses. Through Australian Tourism Data Warehouse, which is notoriously hard to work with, there's 1,100 wineries listed there, as Wine Australia told us the other day. So we can get those in there for a minimal cost. They've got 90,000 businesses, which we can also bring into the Wine Trails platform. So we've got the suppliers, and we'll have the customers coming into our platform. And it's a very simple customer process. They're looking for a holiday, they're looking for a wine, they're looking for just having exploration through it. They can buy it through there. The money goes directly to the winery, they post it out, and we take a commission between 10 and 15%. Our business model is very simple. I don't know where's my dong.
No.
Okay.
A minute and a half. Jeff?
Our current income, we have a business model which is relied upon simply doing things simply and easily. And that's how we've worked all our life. We do have competition with Booking.com and Expedia, but we're starting very small. We're not trying to take them on head on. And our team is great intellectuals. We're using people from the UK and Australia. Legally, we have the coverage of all the things that we need to do, and that helps us with our partners. We've de-risked it. It only needs a small investment to start. But most importantly, today it's an invitation. There's me. If you need a solution for your state, for your region, for your town, for your business, you can call me. I'll give you a 30-minute free consultation. I'm bloody good. If you need an ask from us, we want the premium and niche brands to contact us to join at no cost to be listed into our base, which is very good to start up with. Initial seed and innovation funding for the prototype, that's just to get our blockchain off and running, and that's about $10,000. Wine Trails of Australia, our vision is to create a global wine and tourism sales platform for Australia, culminating in pioneering international trading corridors with the US, European Union, USA and Asia. Projecting Brand Australia onto a global stage, leveraging new technologies. Thank you for your time and attention. My name's been Jeffrey Denning. You want a joke now?
After the judges, how's that?
So what's your marketing strategy so consumers know about it?
I have 32 Facebook and Instagram accounts. We promote through there, targeting people in wine, travel, what their interests are. As you know, it's very easy to do that. It costs us money, but it's cheaper to pay for the advertiser than it is to employ a person to do it. And it's very, very effective for the return we get. On average, between 35 to 25 cents per new customer. We have a Facebook page, Wine Trails of Australia. We've been working on that since November. And at this stage, we're sitting at 800 people. We're not working it hard. We're building this up slowly but surely.
Any other questions from the judges?
I noticed you've said your costing model's still in your development stage, but do you have any ideas roughly where you sit with that at the moment?
For the website and app platform, we'd have that out within 3 to 6 months for between $250,000 and $300,000. We are a very independent business. We're trading. The new job we've got is very effective as well.
And the cost to customer?
Cost to customer, it's 10%. We do it all on commission. We don't take any money up front from them. Wine sales, we look between 10 and 20% on the wholesale price. Oh, sorry, on the retail price, my apology. And for accommodation, we'll look at the same sort of thing, 15 and 20%.
So is it linking not only the tourism experience, but also the winery purchasing? So it's a marketplace as well as a bookings platform.
Yes.
A question from an online judge. How long does it take to have a business on board, to process the business, to get on board on the platform?
5 minutes if they call me now.
5 minutes, okay.
So they could...
I'm getting a bit dry in the mouth. Actually, I drink very rarely, would you believe, these days. I think I drank enough to save a lot of people, and I put a lot of pubs out of business. But I stopped.
Excellent.
Thanks very much.
Well done, Jeff. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
Right. Let's go back to Armando. How are you, Armando? What did you think of Jeff's presentation?
Hey, it was great.
Fantastic, excellent. Any questions? Right, how are we going with the sharing the screen here, Armando?
All right, let's try this again.
Take two.
Take two. How's that?
Oh, action. Listen, the timer is starting now. We're all yours, mate.
All right, let's do it. All right, SciUnity, Cyber Unity. SciUnity is a software as a service app for places in wine regions who want to connect with their consumers. Today, in this world where people are sheltering in place, and even before, people wanted a place where they can connect with community. SciUnity is not just the lean back and consume content app, but one that has you leaning in, learning, sharing, co-creating, and laughing and conversing with people in the wine industry. It gives wine lovers a place to hear what professionals of the industry have to say. The wine industry is extremely diverse, from growers to winemakers to entertainers of all shapes, colors, and backgrounds, and we want to champion those voices. The creation of this app came from not knowing how I'm going to get to my ultimate goal of having my own wine brand. Through experiences at tasting rooms, schools, wineries, and conversations with 2,000 Uber passengers, I noticed that to get to the end goal, I was going to have to adapt to tech, to the new world, to do business the old-fashioned way when you knew your customers and had real relationships, but in today's landscape. Not all winemakers build their own winery, and you can tell by the design. This app is being built by the people in the industry for the people in the industry. Wine already acts as a lubricant for conversation, so our mission is this: to bring our wine industry community closer together to reach community sustainability, human connection, and belonging to enhance the experience when traveling to wine regions or being part of the industry. Going on here is no different than driving down a long highway being spoon-fed ads. Giant tech companies are just trying to get you to buy stuff on impulse. There wouldn't have been a whole film created on the issues around these giant social media companies if they weren't benefiting society. I'm talking about the social dilemma. You can find it on Netflix. Businesses and people struggle to stay at the top of the algorithm and have no control of how or when their posts are seen. Typing something and not seeing the impacts on the other side of the screen can have drastic effects for the receiver. People don't want to be sold to all the time, and more often than not, people leave these platforms feeling worse, not better, because they feel lonelier, like they're not thriving, like they don't have much to offer, like they're not engaging, like no one's there. All of these apps require you to stare at and block out the people around you, which is not always nice, safe, or possible. Wouldn't you much rather be using your time more wisely? Wine regions. This app will work as a virtual town community hall where you can join anytime, and just like Google, but specific to the wine region. When I traveled to Africa and my friend went to Australia, we were having trouble engaging with the region. Everything was scattered, it wasn't user-friendly, it was muddy, and it just wasn't clear. And what SciUnity will do is make it clear as water. We believe there's a difference from getting a result and finding an answer to what you're looking for. And by having this app be specific to the wine region, it will cut out the noise and give you real answers. In this platform, you'll be able to talk, which means you can inform, you can promote, share experiences, recommendations, jobs, housings, find scholarship and events. Whether you're directly or indirectly in the wine industry or in the wine region, we are all part of the wine tourism space, and we want our home to thrive, and we believe the best way to do that is through unity and communication. Our passion, dreams, goals, and beliefs are what anchors our industry. I even wrote an article about it for the Napa Valley Register. Fred and Jenny found out about Darren and his winery on Psy. Fred and Jenny were on Psy because they were lost and overwhelmed with all the places, and they weren't having fun being turned around at the cellar door due to not having reservations. They said picking a winery is like picking a movie on Netflix. They just wanted to talk to locals and winemakers in the area to figure out where to go and meet some new friends without creeping up on strangers at the gas station. Well, Darren, he was on Psy because he just likes to talk to winemakers and people coming into the area and seeing if anyone wants to come in and visit him. So he was on Psy trying to get people to come over. Sound is the new wave. The wine industry is one of the most open industries out there. People want to talk to you. They want to share stories. They want to help one another. We believe there's nothing more powerful than voice. It expresses emotion, excitement, passion, and empathy, the things you can't get over text or a picture. Something else worth noting is that millennials are insatiably curious, wanting to learn all about the wines they buy. This was said by Kelly from ABC. We also know that millennials rely heavily on web and mobile platforms to explore the world of wine. I personally love podcasts because they're easy to consume, effective. I feel like I know the person, and it establishes trust. But you need a decent microphone, maybe some headphones, a booth. Then you got to subscribe to a third-party app, get approved by Google and Apple, Spotify, and all these different places. So you don't want to do that. And it costs about $1,000 to $4,000 a month to produce, depending on the number of pods and the level of support you need. So you don't want to do this every week. You don't want to carry this responsibility and this liability. But what you do want is a space where you can jump in and create podcasts, possibly on the fly or scheduled. Maybe talk about harvest, talk about your wine club, talk to your members, and talk to other businesses, and just have open conversations with people like you. Our goal is to capture some of the best from the past and adapt it to today's wine industry and consumer habits. We're bringing together the consumers and producers, and by distributing creation across wineries worldwide, we are sharing what is effectively the cost of production, the cost of marketing, and customer acquisition. If they are interested in you, they will be interested in someone else. Just published today, Rob McMillan from the SVB Executive Wine Division said that consumer demand should still remain relatively flat for wine, beer should continue to decline, and spirits will gain share from both. This can be found on Forbes. Therefore, rising tides lift all boats. If we can get people interested in Napa wine or Australia wine, then immediately we have greater credibility to engage and sell to consumers instead of just being one Napa winery. It's a growth collaboration effort. And we believe voice carries emotion, relationships create loyalty, and relationships sustain community. We are dedicated to voicing our industry. Same planet, new world. You can leverage the digital sphere with live communication for today's fast-paced lifestyle. Schedule your sidecast and easily connect with near and far winemakers or customers. Find the perfect winery and get to know them. Chime in and hear what's going on and take the conversations wherever you go. Interact in two-way conversations, build relationships, and then get directions to your new favorite place. Then tune back later and listen to previous conversations or catch up with them if they're on. Wine Country is an amusement park for adults, and SciUnity is the app for our wine regions and our industry. SciUnity helps businesses understand enough about their consumers to meet them where they are, to educate, entertain, and persuade them in meaningful ways, gather information about consumer preferences and taste to better personalize their experience. It's really a win-win for consumers and businesses, and they are joining forces like yin and yang. Why are consumers on here? Because they want to engage and find an awesome new brand and have long-lasting relationships and talk about the things they love. Why are winemakers on here? because they want to provide superior customer service and innovate with other winemakers. Join the community. The wine industry has been behind other industries in adopting tech. SciUnity will make the wine industry not only up to date, but have other industries follow its lead. We are building up the community with our FAMAPA and are hoping to reach hearts around the globe. My hope is that SciUnity will act as a vehicle to have us all succeed and to not zoom by the importance and power of community and voice. We want to make our industry diverse, welcoming, engaging, and fun for the future. We must be relevant and adapt to transform our industry. We need to get re-energized since we are the ones that have the right to play. We have to leave this place better than how we found it. Thanks to COVID-19, we are reshuffling and rethinking how we live, where we live, how we work, how we engage, and this hell of a pandemic has given us permission to rethink everything. There is now unprecedented engagement across the board, and people want to reshape and change the way we live for the better, where human connection matters. So what does this guy want, you may ask? It's simple. We're looking for 5 wineries in each South Australia, Bordeaux, Argentina, and South Africa who want to incorporate SciUnity as a supplement to their offerings. We are looking for grape growers and winemaker organizations to share SciUnity with their members so they can start talking. We are lastly looking for a co-founder who is just as passionate about voice as we are and has long-term visions for what the wine industry experience can be. We didn't start with AR capabilities because we believe voice and community is much more important right now, but that is where we're headed. And once we get a chance to create the SciPhone or Sci goggles, we will. So please get your phones ready to scan a QR code on the following screen where you can go onto our website and join the SciUnity community mailing list so that we can notify you when we are on iOS, Android, and desktop. Thank you for your time. Hope you like the presentation. Voice your questions, opinions, feedback, support, because that's what we're all about. Thank you.
Armando, I love the presentation that finishes with a call to action, and you have it right here, right now. Hey, in half an hour, you'll be looking at the metrics. How many followed the QR code? Judges, please, any questions for Armando?
Go, Roberta.
Yes, hi Armando, thanks for your presentation. My question is around intellectual property. Is there any intellectual property that you own in this, and in that, if there is, how are you protecting it?
Well, currently we're registered as an LLC, and as far as further than that, we are not. But we are looking into it as soon as we were able to get to that point.
Any other questions?
We know about the,
we understand, I guess, the big bad, social media platforms, but they are there and it's where people are. So how do you overcome, or how do you attract someone to say, for wine, go to SciUnity, whereas everything else in my life is over here?
Great.
Right, well, we're looking to partner up with welcome centers and wineries and basically just have a QR code at their tasting room. And when anyone wants to go get information at a visitor center, or if they're at a cool winery, they could just scan the QR code and the winery could tell them, hey, if you don't want to join our wine club today, join our Sci Club. We're going to be live on there, engaging, talking. You could get promos and whatnot. And it's just an easier way to communicate.
And Judge
Sarah, you've got a question from Barossa Regional Development Australia, please.
Yep. Hi, Armando. Quick question about the place-based experiences section of the app. How do you plan to ensure that the regionally specific information is authentic and verified, and ensure that it's current and up to date?
Right. So we're doing everything onboarding personally. So you can't just go onto the platform and onboard your place. So we're gonna connect with the places that want to be on our platform and be featured, and we're gonna do a call and set up their profile and show them how to use it. So
follow-up question to that: how long will you think that process might take?
Initially, probably 45 to maybe an hour 30. And I think it'll be good to kind of build that relationship with them and get engaged with them, see what they're about, and see how we can help them. Because we're also going to have our team promoting their story as well. So we're going to have live people engaging with the visitors and, you know, promoting the businesses that are on there to drive them more traffic. So.
Super. Well done, Armando.
Adaptive, we made it, and a great presentation. So now we... So now we come back a little bit closer across the Pacific, and we're heading to New Zealand, and we're going to Digital Door, and we're meeting with Angela. So not quite a time zone prize for you. I think it's only 6 p.m. in New Zealand, so that's okay. It might be dinner time in the zoo, but it's now time for your pitch, please, Angela. Oh.
You're on mute.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep, yes. All good. Excellent.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I'm just going to move my screen up a little bit. Sorry, I can't actually see my screen. I've somehow lost it on my computer, but it's okay. We'll start from here. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Hang on. Is someone actually able to share my screen, because I don't have the video on my screen.
I can't.
Oh, hang on. Found it. Sorry, got it here. There we go.
Oh, fantastic, Angela. There was some worrying faces when you said that. So.
No worries. I just
Take it away.
one of the videos. All right. Now, okay, everyone can see what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining today. I know I've had a chat with a few of you over the last few days, so I've really appreciated that feedback. So what I wanted to introduce you today to was the Digital Door, which is a video-first digital cellar door experience. Okay, so one of my favorite things to do on the weekends is visit wineries. There's just something special about walking down those rows of beautifully manicured vines, walking into the cellar door, meeting the winemaker or someone that works in the winery, and really bringing that glass of wine to life. The problem is, for the 3.5 billion of us that live in Asia, this is not a reality that we get to experience on a regular basis. There's just something missing. Which is interesting though, because wine consumption in Asia is actually booming across multiple different countries within this region. And it's not just the volume of wine that's increasing, it's actually the premium offerings of the wineries as well. So the average price of a bottle of wine in Asia is almost double what it is in other regions. The way we purchase wine generally is through a wine shop or increasingly online. The problem with online wine consumption is that there's a real experience gap. The consumer doesn't get that fantastic experience they get when they're either in a wine shop or at the winery itself. So the internet is good for buying, but it's really poor at shopping. And I think when you have your traditional e-commerce websites, they do focus on the purchasing process, but they don't actually focus on the browsing or the discovery process. And this is where we come in. So we link producers and consumers across 4 key pillars. So discovery and education, as well as communication, and then our revenue streams come from the e-commerce side of the business. So we're currently leveraging 4 key trends. And I'm sorry, but I can't reduce the chat box for some reason, I'm sorry. So we're leveraging 4 key trends. Wine is now fun. So rather than being seen as a food and beverage aspect, it's more seen as a wine experience these days. A lot of the new generation sees education and more excitement in visiting wineries and experiencing wine. And as I mentioned, wineries are quite a drive from their producers, and the tyranny of weather is that there's not a real opportunity to grow vineyards within the Asian region. So the only way we can really engage with wineries a lot of the time is digitally. The next big trend is video. So alarmingly, we spend about 100 minutes a day looking at videos on our phone, which is a 20% year-on-year increase. I found this figure pretty astounding when I came across it, but it is something that we can definitely leverage to help wine producers link with their consumers. And then apps are getting personal. So consumers are after super apps, so bigger apps that do a lot more on their phone, that are really specialized in what they do. And this is where we come in. So our minimum viable product, or MVP, is our app which links brand owners and brand producers with their consumers. So we host spaces on the winery for wine regions, the winery themselves, and each individual wine that's produced at that winery. So it's a good way for wine districts like the Barossa Valley, for example, to upload a lot of the existing content they have on the wine region itself onto the app. That way users can come and plan for their trips to the Barossa Valley, but then they can also consume some of that content. I know industry bodies and tourist destinations spend a lot of time and a lot of money creating content that might get used a few times. So the more times you can use this content, obviously the better ROI that those organizations and industries and locations have. We then link up with last mile delivery partners to link the consumer side of the business. So you can look onto the app, discover the wine you're after, and then find a local distributor in your region to distribute that wine. We have all the regular things that you would expect from a wine app. So consumers can track their favorite wines. They can look it through their flavor profile and have smart discovery of different varieties of wines that they might find quite interesting. They can also follow sommeliers and share content with their friends. We're looking to leverage a few key trends that we're seeing here in Asia to really get our message out and do a lot of the marketing for us. Live streaming e-commerce is huge, and it's absolutely booming in this part of the world. There's very few product launches now that don't go ahead via live streaming. And it's not necessarily just with producers or just with experts in the region, it's also heavily influencer based as well. So we can start to leverage a lot of those trends in the marketing side of the business. The other trend we're looking to leverage is gamification. So I don't know if there are any other survivors out there of the Pokemon Go phenomenon in 2016, 2017, but this took Asia like a storm. It was everywhere on every corner. It's something that really resonates with this side of the market, and we're looking to leverage that into successfully marketing the app. So badges is a huge thing. Asian culture is very much about proving your knowledge and your wisdom and your worth. And so badges really help people display that they have a sound knowledge or that they have good experience in different areas, and also tracking their journey. They can really display, how many of these vineyards they've visited either digitally or in person, and really start to track their wine journey. And then education's huge. Any wine tastings that I go to in Australia or New Zealand or Napa Valley or anywhere else seem to be heavily influenced towards, the fun side of it, the interesting side of it, and it's really just kind of a good day out in the sun a lot of the time. In Asia, when I go to wine tastings, people come with notebooks, they come with pens, they come armed to really learn about the winemaker, the wine, terroir, anything to do with the wine. So we're looking to really leverage that want for education and that interest and knowledge into the app as well. Now we're getting into things that we are looking to build further down the road, and we're looking into our roadmap. So what we want to do here is look at more of a digital data-based decision-making. So for producers, we're looking to create obviously a suite of APIs that they can leverage their existing data and the existing content they have on existing platforms into our platform. We're also hoping to produce for them some data-based decision-making in terms of tracking flavor profiles. And then for distributors, knowing how they can distribute which wines play which well in which markets. If they can see that on the wish list of a lot of people are in a certain market, they can really know which wineries to approach to then offer to distribute their wine into those markets as well. And for the consumers, selecting a bottle of wine can still be quite a daunting task, be it at a restaurant or either online if you're shopping at home, or even in a wine shop. So having a smart-based AI, conversational AI tool will really help people broaden their knowledge and really help them experience wines that may be similar to their existing flavor profiles, or maybe something completely different. Revenue model. So we have 4 different streams that we will create, but we're starting first with the listing. So our MVP is very much focused on listing. So we do have premium versions, so for users, and then we do have premium listings, but we do have paid listings as well. So you can promote content, promote regions, and also have some additional functionality as well. E-commerce is where we really start to, clip the ticket for the transactions that are going through the platform. When we start to get further down our roadmap, we'll be adding on events and then offering some advertising as well. In terms of the timeline, we are deep into our MVP build and finalizing that, moving into continuing to build those partnerships outside of our beta tester network and customer acquisition, and then really into, it says their product 2.0, which is a lot of the really moving into those aspirational kind of roadmap areas that I talked about earlier. Our advisors, so we have Joe Barrett, who is a kind of a wonder kid of distribution. He owns the largest craft brewery and direct-to-consumer database here in Asia, and he's also a founder of one of the PR networks. So he's got a wealth of information on both sides of the transaction. Nick, he's the co-founder of 90 Seconds. So they're one of the world's largest distributed video creation platforms. They have about 30,000 freelancers globally creating content every day for half of the Fortune 500 companies and everything except weddings and adult videos. He says he makes. Then we get into FOMENT. So wanted to say big thank you to you guys. You've become invaluable advisors to us, not only just you but your network as well. So we've added you into the slide. So thank you for that. And for us, for the next few months, what we're looking to do is build partnerships on two fronts. So first, wine producers and distributors. So anyone that we can that has content that they would like to upload onto the platform or that would like to help us create content, we'd really like to hear from you. And also investors as well. We will start raising our seed round late in Q1, early in Q2 next year. So we're looking to build some networks within interested parties within that region as well. And that's it. You have my contact details on the slide there. And I'd really love to hear from anyone that would like to join us on this journey. Thank you.
Well done, Angela. One of the things I've actually loved about this program, I was one of the lucky ones, I think, along with Paul, were on the initial submissions for FOMENT, and seeing the initial submission after the 4 weeks of intensive work and seeing the final pitch. It's just lovely to see the transition of all the presentations coming through the mix there. So really well done, Angela. Questions from the judges, please.
I'll start.
Well, actually, I was just going to say, while we wait for the judges to have some thinking music, one floor up the elevator, please, Ron. Internet is good for buying, not good for shopping. That is the best line I've heard today. It's anyone that's tried to buy from Woolworths online their weekly groceries, yes, you can do it, but you don't want to be clicking all of those buttons to find out what you want to buy. So, Ron, it's a perfect line. Ron, please.
Angela, just a quick question. I may have missed it, but basically on where your MVP sits at the moment, the other tools that you were planning to integrate on top of that, what was your approximate timeline for those?
Yeah, it'll be, it's kind of hard to say because we really need to focus, we're totally focused on getting the MVP out, and that's kind of what we're wanting to see getting into market and getting working first. I think it'll be driven by our consumers. My background is more in tech than wine, to be honest. So I'm very much of the school of thought that you don't build anything until someone's going to pay for it. And so we want to get the MVP into market, start seeing how that's playing, and then start getting feedback before we start spending too much time, starting to integrate with other products. So that's something down the track. It'll definitely be into next year and after the raise when we can start to hire some more dev talent, which is not cheap.
Peter.
Question around language and culture, I guess. Adaptation to Asia, it obviously is developed with our culture and our English in mind, but how do you actually tune it to the customer in a rather more direct sense?
Oh, that's a great question, Peter. Great question.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're starting off English first. So English is definitely the major language in a lot of the, the kind of the wealthier Asian languages. Indonesia is probably a good second option, and you wouldn't need too much localization to break into that market as well. But they do really play in the premium market there. The other options that we were chatting about just with FOMENT the other day were Taiwan and Korea as well. So I'm going to do a lot more research into those two markets. They're not markets that I had really initially started to branch out into, but on recommendation of the advisors, that's somewhere I should look. So they will probably be the first two in terms of localization. China is obviously the golden egg, part of the metaphor, but that is kind of, I think, something we'd be looking at as well, but they need a huge amount of localization for that app. So that's something we would be looking at in the distant future.
Roberta.
Hi, Angela. Just talking about Korea. I was working with someone the other day in wool premiumization by chance. Anyway, and I'm told with some authority that Japan are the influencers for Taiwan and Korea.
Wow.
So if you want something to take off in Korea and Taiwan, you get someone from Japan to lead the charge. And I've thought for a long time that Japan has been the forgotten market. And I guess we'll have to wait for a consultant to tell us that needs to be remembered, but sooner or later someone will.
Remembered.
Yeah. Anyway, so my advice is have a think about that.
Putting an invoice for
That's
that.
great. No, I think
Invoice for
we
that.
also
There's a bit of free consulting there.
No, there's no such thing as free consulting.
there is quite a good market for wine as well, and quite a few wine producers as well. So perhaps we could look at digitizing some of their experiences too.
Yeah. Super work, Angela. Well done.
And I wish you luck with the Judges' Prize and the People's Choice Prize coming through. Now, listen, we have another 5-minute break to bathroom, charge your glasses and have a drink. But I'm going to put a call to action. I would love everyone to take a photo on their phones and then put on social media, hashtag FOMENT 2020, where you are watching FOMENT 2020 from, please. All right? Any platform, and the people that are more technical than me, they will find those photos, and I would love you to share that. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, WeChat, whatever. Just take a photo and share it on social media, please. There's my call to action. 5-minute break, please.
Everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. Guys, I'm here to introduce you to Wine Tasting AI, a voice technology that we are using to engage consumers with small wineries. We know voice tech is a brand new technology, so that's why we start developing voice games, because we know the game industry have been teaching people how to interact with technology for 5 decades. So now we are also collaborating with Monash University, developing a voice app for mental health called Emotional Coaching. And we are ready to launch an NBL voice app to engage in basketball fans with their teams. Wine Tasting AI is for small wineries looking to engage with consumers more deeply. Our voice AI app integrated with Alexa and Google will help them build a direct relationship. We are special because a consumer can open a bottle of any wine and literally talk to their smartphones about their preference that will match with products to drive more sales. Although the wine industry Australia is $4 billion, only 70% comes from direct to consumer. And when you're looking for the average revenue per bottle, third-party websites sell a bottle for average $6, while in direct to consumers, this price can be up to $16. And we are talking about $7 billion in the domestic market in Australia, which is a great space for small producers to get a better profit. But the problem starts with the channels. We have the major retailers and the wholesalers who has a monopoly over the channels. And that's the biggest problem. The 4 largest retailers own a market share of 84%. And only Woolworths and Coles account for a revenue of 66%. Their private labels are competing in price and share of shelf. And they are also promoted imported wines. And we know that the wine world has become exclusionary and intimidating, especially for new consumers. So when people have no knowledge, they are influenced by price. Our solution is to strengthen the engagement between consumers and producers, educating new consumers about wine they like, and matching consumers' preference to wine they will love and buy. Wine Tasting AI talks to consumers to help them to discover wines that match their taste and budget. And we are using the power of voice AI because it's highly scalable, it's personalizable, and low cost. And we are leveraging our platforms to Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant. But a consumer also can use their smartphone to interact with Wine Tasting AI. Here I have like a brief video with 3 minutes that shows a little bit of experience for you.
Alexa, open wine tasting.
Welcome to the wine tasting. Let's see what exciting new wine experience we will discover today. I can help you with a quick suggestion of wine, a recommendation of wine for pairing with food, or I can guide you through a tasting of any wine you are drinking now. What's it going to be today? A quick suggestion, wine pairing, or a wine tasting?
Wine.
What's the grape or blend are you drinking today?
Today I'm drinking a Cabernet Sauvignon.
I like Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, can you tell me what the region is?
It's from McLaren Valley.
Excellent. McLaren Vale has beautiful wineries to visit. Grab your bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon and a glass. Stay comfy and let's start the tasting. Notice there are some things that we always do when we are trying a new wine. Look, smell, taste, and think about the experience. Let's keep it simple. The idea is to guide you to find the best wines for you. Okay, now, tell me what smells did you notice?
Blueberries.
Thanks for the smells. Blueberries. Different wines have different levels of aroma intensity. That's something important to know. What other fruits did you get?
Plum.
Did you notice anything else?
No.
Interesting. So you got blueberries, plum. Now, we're going to think about all assessments of this wine. Body is a term to categorize wine by intensity level, from lightest to richest. Our taste receptors sense the body in wine using the traits of sweetness, acidity, alcohol, and tannin. Would you say this is a light, medium, or full-bodied wine?
I think it's medium body.
Thanks. So you're drinking a medium-bodied wine. Great. Before you go, I can suggest other wines you might like, based on your preferences. How would you rate this wine? Would you say it is bad, poor, good, very good, or excellent?
I think it's good.
Thanks for your opinion. Well, here are 2 recommended wines that you can buy directly from producers that you may enjoy. They are the High Trellis, Cabernet Sauvignon 2016 from Darenberg. The Artisan, Cabernet Sauvignon 2018 from Allegiance. Do you want me to send you an email with details of these recommended wines?
Sure.
So talking about consumers, we believe that the early adopters will be the social newbies. They are under 35 years old. They have low knowledge about wine, but a high level of involvement, and they are eager to explore more. And more importantly, they are drink wine 1 or twice in a week. We also have the engaged explorers. They are under 45. They are involved and confident, and they spend between $15 and $25 per bottle. And both groups comprise over 60% of dollars spent in wine currently. Our app is free for all consumers. We're looking for the B2B side. We are charging an entry fee of $300 that is fully reverted in digital marketing. So we are promoting the products for the wineries in the social media with our voice AI, and they can upload 5 products on our platform. We also have a monthly fee by the number of products in our platform, but they can also choose a personalization. So we can develop an exclusive wine tasting AI for a particular label, but also we can promote offers through our EDM channels, email marketing that you send for our consumers, and promoting visits to wineries through voice interactions and video. We want to engage with wine associations across the 6 regions to present our solution and to bring at least 5 small wineries on board, because we are looking for these people who are producing great wine and looking for innovation, because we believe that we can change the way people interacting with wine. So that's the group that we are looking for at the moment.
Andre, you have 1 minute to go.
Perfect. So I have more than 15 years working in experiential marketing for multinational brands and companies, and I'm an expert in customer experience and brand engagement. And my CTO, Jung, is a tech-savvy expert in conversational AI, enterprise productivity, and software development. We both strongly believe that voice AI is the change, is the way that people will interact with technology. So that's what we are trying to innovate. Thank you.
Wow. Questions from the judges, please.
I'm sorry about the robots around.
Ron, please.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. I'd just like to know whether you've considered on variants of language for the platform.
Sorry, Jason, can you repeat the question for me?
Have you considered the variants of
language for the platform, Andre?
So currently the language is English, but we can launch the same application in Spanish, German, Italian, and Japanese, in Portuguese. So of course we have to understand consumers' behaviors in these wine regions, but the technology is the same.
Any other questions from the judges? Roberta.
Oh, I'm just a bit curious. What happens if the consumer gives the wine a bad rap? How would you evaluate it? I'm not sure what the difference is between poor and bad, but let's suppose they say poor or bad. Then what happens?
Yeah, so actually the full experience takes like 15 minutes average. The user can stop the interaction when they want, enjoy the wine and come back again. So we are capturing data during these interactions and understand their perception based on what they are drinking now. So we are using this data to matching with our database of products, and we can offer more likely wines they will probably like. So we basically asking them a rating during the experience and understand their perceptions related to acidity, tannins, the body of the wine, things like that.
Yeah, I understand that. But let's suppose, as it happens, the Cab Sav that I'm drinking, I decide, nah, I don't care for that much. So do you then say, because you're not likely to offer me a bunch of wines just like it, obviously, if I don't like that one. So are you then is the app going to then suggest something that I might like better, based on what I've said about my preferences? Is that how that would work?
Yeah, what I can do is, depending on your rating and the data that I capture, I can suggest something completely different for you. Right. So I'm analyzing, so I can suggest a more lighter wine or a more heavy wine, or maybe a different grape.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Andre. My question is, I'm with the Regional Wine Association, and so far today there's 4 presentations that have said that they want to work through an association. Why would we work with you over and above anyone else?
I believe our technology is scalable, is ready to use. We are finishing the wine experience probably in December. So we can get consumers on board, and we just need a database to start matching and prove to the wineries that we can add this value to the consumer engagement. So we are probably ready to launch in early January. And the cost is too low, actually, because we want to onboard, we want these guys on board to develop the technology with us. So we can prove to them that we can provide with some certain KPIs that we can provide that we're engaging people with them directly.
Annabelle, a great question to put fear and competition in the contestants right there. Why? Ron, I've got time for one more question.
My question, in terms of pricing to your customers, Andre, what can you take from your NBL Hungry Jacks, was it one? How do you price, you've set a price, but how do you actually create the value for people, their proposition relative to, say, your experience with the Monash experience or with the NBL. It's a totally different sort of client market.
Are you talking about the consumer side?
No, I'm talking about the winery side.
Okay, what I can do basically, differently from the most apps in the market now, and they use an average opinion about their products. The price sometimes is not matching with the reality. So I give an opportunity for the small wineries talking about their products. So we can add descriptions and qualities of these wines when we present this to consumers. So again, it's a consumer talking directly with a winery producer. So we want to exterminate middlemen, and we want to make them contact directly. Of course, we know there is some challenges in distributions, but we are looking for that as well. Does it answer your questions?
Thank you very much, Andre. Well done. Thank you. Okay, moving on. We're up to team number 8 today. We've got 3 to go. We've got Josh, who's in Victoria from the Epicurean Group. A fun fact, Josh, did you have to leave early one day from the program? Someone told me that you needed to go for a $75 haircut.
I love the inflation of FOMENT now. It just keeps getting higher and higher.
Sounds like I've been stitched up here, Josh. So how about I give you the floor and please.
Things are tough here in Melbourne. Didn't you guys hear?
All right. Josh, please, you have the floor for your pitch.
Thank you very much. Give me 1 second to do the usual bits and pieces. Alrighty. Hi guys. So to start with, what we're doing and what I'm doing is changing the way wineries and consumers discover and engage with each other. As wine enthusiasts, we've all had those annoying and sometimes repetitive unpersonal emails and newsletters, sometimes phone calls right in the middle of sitting down to dinner from wineries and clubs. We hardly engage, are too busy, and in most cases dismiss it or delete the emails. If it's not the winery's fault, they've just been doing what they only know how. We need to educate them on consumer engagement, show them a newer and more efficient and effective way to attract with and more importantly, retain spending customers. Imagine a world where rather than there being 3,000 winery clubs vying for consumer engagement, that there was one club that the consumers sought out the wineries and were rewarded for their patronage. Well, there hasn't been such a marketplace until now. Welcome to the Epicurean Collective, the company launching Australia's first loyalty and consumer platform to the Australian wine industry, Wine Rewards. So what are the problems that we're faced with? Competition as far as wineries go. The Australian wine industry is a highly competitive marketplace. The consumer generally is a member of multiple wineries, so why should they buy one wine over and not another? Why should a consumer choose to buy from one winery over another as well? The industry and the wine producers are unsure. The cellar doors are generally not dedicated salespeople. They don't naturally understand what the consumer is seeking and how to engage with them. The owners, decision makers from the wineries generally do not have the resources to research and develop industry trends, consumer behaviour and engagement activities. And finally, loyalty. We know that customer loyalty has dropped immensely over the years. In last year's 2019 Wine Australia Direct-to-Consumer report indicated that only 1% of consumers are joining clubs, and of those clubs, there was an 8% attrition rate over 18 months. We understand that most businesses want customer loyalty. So what do we know in 2020? Looking at the top figures, we can determine that the wine industry is starting to integrate technology into the front end of their business. Hallelujah. We know that due to COVID, consumers have gone online and sought out those businesses who are active online. The ones that weren't active online have been left behind. So what's the biggest opportunity? The natural progression into the wine consumer space is that of brand loyalty and rewards. We know that we can't tell the consumer what wine to drink, what food to eat, or where to stay. But what we can do is engage with them, reward them, and incentivize them to keep coming back. It's tit for tat. Is it tit for tat? Absolutely. You only need to look at some of the biggest retail brands in Australia and their biggest marketing tools are loyalty and reward programs. Qantas, Myer One, Woolworths Rewards, American Express, Dan Murphy's, and then the first thing that the Wine Collective launched since their newest capital raise was, you guessed it, a loyalty and rewards program. So how do we do this? Firstly, we're a marketplace. Imagine a digital supermarket of wineries and related businesses all at the touch of your fingertips. Secondly, we're a transferable loyalty and rewards program. This means that the consumer can take their loyalty points and reward dollars, cash back, from their purchases and shop them anywhere on our database of participating businesses. Thirdly, we provide an exclusive ecosystem, a community environment where the consumer feels engaged, valued, and rewarded. They're part of something exclusive. This is a vital component in the loyalty space. And finally, we provide a support portal. We know our stuff, and we ensure that our vendors get all the support, training, and thinking that they need to be successful on our platform. Now to the fun part, the technology. Wine Rewards is designed to provide convenience and ease of access to the consumer. We offer no limitations on what type of device you can access the platform from. Of course, ones that can provide a smart device. The backend portal where the vendors upload offers, download analytics, new club members, payments, etc., is accessible from both a dedicated website and also boasts a mobile version as well. We're working to make sure that we make this as easy as possible. Features of the platform. The marketplace offers the user the ability to search, engage, and transact with both wineries and related tourism businesses. The search capability means the user can browse freely or use our recommendation tools to suggest award-winning wineries and restaurants, from Halliday Wine Companion to finding that hidden gem via our in-house sommelier, to ethically traded businesses, organic products, and I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but the non-alcoholic movement. Bookings. One of the key features is how we're able to integrate with industry leaders such as Resdi to ensure that the user can book directly with the winery or related businesses via our platform. If a business doesn't have that in place, no issues. We can send bookings direct to their email, SMS, or calendar. The rewards. This is the heart of our platform. Earn cashback rewards from all of your purchases through the platform. The user has the ability to use their cashback to make other purchases at other businesses or deposit the money back into their own personal account. Okay, the business end. How do we commercialize and make money? Let's start with the business-to-business revenue. Wineries and related businesses pay a monthly subscription fee to be a part of the marketplace, and for that, they get access to the features and support of the Wine Rewards platform. Our pricing structure is scaled based on the size of the winery, meaning a small boutique operator is not going to pay the same as a large multi-site exporter. We understand business. We appreciate how many offers these businesses get every day. With Wine Rewards, the winery is on board at no fee to begin with, allowing them to taste us and allow us to drive business to them. It really is a try before you buy. Oh, and to add to our commitment, we won't lock the business into a contract. If you don't feel the value, then you're not stuck with us. Simple business, we feel. As far as business to consumer revenue goes, it's a simple solution as well. We make our money two ways. First, we charge a small percentage of the merchant fee at the point of transaction. Secondly, we charge a commission based on the cashback reward paid to the customer. So who are our customers? Well, for choice of words, we're the middle of the coin. And I quote good old Dr. Darren for that. On the upstream, we encourage businesses with a wine region that offer complementary services and products to the visitor. The wine is the focus, but we understand that when you visit a wine region, especially more than one day, you'll spend at multiple businesses. On the downstream, consumers who we like to call them wine hobbyists, meaning those that have a love for food and wine regions, exploring, a passion for food, wines, and all that goes with it. Getting to market. Onboarding the wineries and related businesses will require a strong sales process that has myself and a dedicated sales team visiting regions and onboarding the businesses onto our platform. As for the consumers, we understand that the vast majority of our consumers play online. They are tech savvy, engage heavily in social media channels, and thus we have established a significant investment into social marketing, PR, and influencer relationships. As part of this investment, we'll also rely heavily on industry partnerships, the businesses, and our networking to leverage existing clubs and databases. The ask. We're seeking between $550,000 and $800,000 for seed capital. For this, we're offering the investor or investors a range of options and convertible notes that will see them benefit from the financial growth of their investment in Wine Rewards. Depending on the value of investment, as mentioned, will directly impact the rollout strategy, how aggressively we go to market and how quickly we do it. As you can see from the visual chart, the bulk of investment is directed at money-making operations. The rollout plan. As you can see from the slide, our rollouts consist of clear milestones. We'll undertake a pilot program within 2 regions, starting in December this year, one in South Australia and the other in Victoria. Our soft launch is earmarked for South Australia. South Australia is second to none with strong adoption of technology, and the government is proactive in supporting their wine and tourism industry. You only need to look at the existing voucher and couponing system that they've done to engage to see that. Our full launch will take place across all 65 wine regions throughout Australia by summer 2021, which leaves us ample time to onboard all the wineries and related businesses needed for this launch. Finally, our first international growth is marked for New Zealand with a similar rollout strategy timeline as what we've done in Australia. Now to the fun part, the team. What we've assembled here is a team that not only...
Josh, 1 minute to go.
1 minute?
Yep.
Yep, okay. So what we've done here is assemble a team of basically people that are key and exceptional in their specific roles. Secondly, we've got trusted advisors from the industry. So what we've done is make sure that we've partnered with the right people that allow us to cut through and be able to allow us to grow in a quick and sustained way. The final areas I want to introduce you to a typical client of Wine Rewards. I want you to fast forward your minds 12 to 18 months from now. Here's a typical customer, someone who is tech-driven, loves wine, coffee, and fashion, of course. You're planning a surprise getaway for your partner to the Barossa Valley. Sitting in your chair at work, flicking through the latest offers on Wine Rewards, choosing a hidden gem or two that our sommelier has recommended. Knowing your partner, you find a gorgeous boutique cottage overlooking the sweeping hills and vines of the Barossa. You find a local restaurant that's just won an award and book. She is blown away. But wait, just when she thinks you couldn't outdo yourself, with the cashback rewards that you've earned from the weekend's indulgences, you embark on a trip to the local retail shop to spoil her. Or, you know what? You may just pay for that power bill that just came in. Either way, Wine Rewards has rewarded you for being you and spending time doing the things that you love. Thank you.
Well done. Well done, Josh. Excellent. Question from the judges, please.
So building a marketplace is about having enough people on both sides of it. You said that the strategy to get sort of the businesses on board is a hard, I guess, manual sales process. What's your sort of expectations on businesses approached versus businesses signing up?
Yeah, look, my track record on sales is strong. I have an understanding of how to onboard businesses. From that perspective, we have around about a 40% expectation that we'll convert. We know that there's a timeline that we need to do that, and we know that especially in regional and rural areas, we need to do it face to face. I believe that face to face is what will give us the ability to convert those businesses onto our platform.
And as a follow-up,
how many businesses, so wineries and associated operators, are you expecting as your minimum to launch in a particular region?
In a region, we're looking more at a state level, and we're looking at a minimum of about 65 businesses combined per state level will make us a comfortably viable business.
Sarah, do you have a question?
No.
Say good day, give us a wave. Yes, go Matt, please.
Part where you said that the club is exclusive. What makes it exclusive?
Well, Wine Rewards is our own platform. So therefore, being a part of Wine Rewards means that you're part of that club. You're a part of that ecosystem. So you're not going to be marketed by any other clubs or any other sort of businesses that aren't related to what we're doing.
But anyone can join, right?
But anyone
can join.
Absolutely. So our platform is a freemium, so anyone can join it. Absolutely. So there's no cost to the consumer to join our platform ever.
Good. Any other questions from the judges? Thank you very much, Josh. Good luck. Excellent. So our ninth pitch is Grant from Borough Street Analytics, the best dressed in the room, I've got to say.
Next time when Jason's in the room. I think Darren might have a problem.
So a little bit of a fun fact with Grant is during the FOMENT program, not only did he launch his business whilst doing FOMENT, he's also doing his masters at the same time. So have you slept at all, is all I need to know.
No.
No.
Not in the last week.
Okay.
Yep, so if you stand on that crossover there.
Might work.
Yep.
Cool.
Stand here across here.
Right, that'd be great.
I left my book behind. Wait a sec.
Excellent. 10 minutes, you have the floor.
Cool. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Grant Baker. I'm the Managing Director of Borough Markets. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Yes, we're here having a fun time, sitting in a room, watching videos, doing this around the world, thinking about that assignment I got you.
Good to go. No pressure. Good to go. Take two, Grant.
Cool.
All right, and we reset.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Grant Baker. I'm the Managing Director of Borough Markets. And at Borough Markets, we're at war with commercial inequality. Our mission is to democratize technology for small to medium-sized businesses to allow them to compete for the first time against large corporate retailers. But let me explain. Okay. Just click for me. Okay, this is going to throw my time.
Share the outlook for you. I'll click for you.
This is going to be awkward, but no worries. Okay, but rather let me explain.
In an online marketplace of big brands and big bucks, it can be tough to make an impact. In the attention economy, you're bidding against the world's biggest marketing budgets. So it's no surprise that the online marketplace can seem like a big challenge for smaller businesses. What if there was an affordable way for you to access cutting-edge marketing technology to help you compete online with the big guys? Welcome to Borough Markets. Borough Markets is a holistic business ecosystem that will provide you with everything you need to succeed online. Using game-changing AI, we work with your data to build behaviour models around your audiences to increase your customer spend, interaction and brand. We break down and segment your audiences with tactical marketing, lookalike modelling and advanced programmatic advertising, honing in on who your customers really are. Then, we give you the keys to unlock the real potential of your data. A complete e-commerce platform that will help you access your ideal customers with smart, personalised messages and tools. And in addition to all the AI-powered data you need to succeed, we also provide a full turnkey solution with an assigned account manager and development of digital creative campaigns. Our team is always here to help you convert your data into a winning plan with real results. So join our community, connect with us, and be part of something that can take your business further online.
Cool. So for us, it's been a big week. We launched this week. We launched
In the advertiser, we've had fantastic press. Spring Gully was our launch partner, who we've done some amazing work for over the last couple of weeks in terms of looking at analytics and AI. At the same time, when you talk about launch, it's not simply about saying, hey guys, we're open for business. It's actually more than that. It's the fact that we have 2 native apps in the store. Our shopping portal is completely up and running. Our new consumer portal for customers and for brand owners to come join and find out about us is up and running. And most importantly is our dashboards for our brand owners. We have really onboarded our first 20 businesses. We've been running campaigns for the last 2-3 weeks, and our team has grown from 2 people in March to 18 people today, and we expect to be sitting at around 30 by February, March next year. So, we believe that we have quite a unique business model. We have gone through the process of automating our onboarding process. I will tell you embarrassingly that when we onboarded our first winery, which was Lodenville Road, it took us a week to get Inga fully up and running on board. This morning, we onboarded a client in 45 minutes. And when I say on board, I mean bring them onto our platform, set up the e-com site, work out what their social media and marketing requirements are, and actually start to be able to run algorithms to actually understand their customers and what we can deliver for them. Our route to market is quite unusual. We've built our market drive on partnerships. And when I mean partnerships, PKF specifically, their 13,000 customers are accessible to us, and we've been running our own tools to try and identify who those key customers are. We generate revenue through 5 primary channels, being third-party advertising opportunities, specialist services for data, which is what we've just executed for Spring Gully, trying to help them get Osmite back listed on the Woolies shelves, through to our licensing feeds, revenues and production costs, and media revenue. And I can tell you that I've done so many investor presentations, and you throw up the hockey stick and everyone goes, oh. We're on track. We're actually on track for our November, December numbers already. Because of that pipeline that's coming through, because of our strong BMD teams. Although there are 140,000 SMEs in South Australia, over 2 million active trading small businesses in Australia, our focus is predominantly on 3 categories, and we're launching currently in New South Wales and South Australia simultaneously. The first is on general retail, where we've brought on businesses like Spring Gully, Swiftlight, Petville with RSPCA, which is one of our favorites. We took their brief for their new campaign today, through to wineries, distilleries, and craft breweries, with brands like Lodenville Road, Archie Rose in Sydney, and as of today, Prancing Pony from the Hills on board. And we are busy finalising a string of agreements with wineries such as Torbreck, Wirrawurra, Aston Hills, Larry Walker, and Langmore. From a professional services company side, the reason we've gone this route is because we actually want to give that depth of data and understanding, and looking at businesses like Logic Finance, Spinal Care, Chiropractic, and Nutrilife. As a business, we look incredibly complex. We look incredibly technical. The tech stack is big. It's been designed and built using some of the world's best data scientists and leading architects, but at the end of the day, the core to our business is 3 things. One is our partnership with IBM and Acoustic, and the tech stacks that we use from them are both ranked as number 1 by Gartner in terms of technology. But it's not their tech stacks that are the core or the essence of our business. It's the way that we've been able to bring these tech stacks together, this technology together, to actually make it work, where we can bring data in from multiple data sources, from myriads of different sources from small businesses, and actually make sense of that data, run machine learning, and then push out thousands of individualized, personalized campaigns to thousands of customers for hundreds of businesses concurrently. And that's never been done before. And that's really been core to what we've built. The second piece is the scary piece. We know that there is this level of technology across a string of graveyards that are for SME businesses. Why? Because it's not the tech. It's actually the ability to bring that SME along that journey. when you run a business, you're the marketing director, the sales director, the financial director, the ops director, the financial director. Marketing is simply one small portion, and we learned this lesson from Zomato, that unless you actually manage that business, become that outsourced marketing department, you're facing a challenge. And our model is based on the Zomato model, which people say, what does that mean? It means we have one account manager to every 40 businesses. Is that scalable? Well, considering they're running in 24 countries with over 10,000 cities with 100 million active participants every month, we think it is. So I thought I'd just give you a quick overview of the kind of things that we do. So this is actually a true story from Wurra. They came to us and said, why should we come on board with you? I said, well, very simple, give me your problems. And the first challenge that came from Claire, who runs the Cellar Door, said, how do I get people into Harry's Deli through the week? And our response to that was, well, a number of things. One, display advertising, focus on using programmatic advertising to reach out and reach tour groups. Look at geofence targeting, because we do have an app, and we're not an app company. It's one of 6 or 7 channels that we use. And lastly, those EDM campaigns that we can focus out. So, Luke asked, well, that's all well and fine, Claire asked, that's all well and fine, but how do we actually not irritate people? How do you actually make sure you're not doing too much? And our platform actually maps the full user journey. And not just the EDM, but the EDM, push notification, the SMS, the geofencing, the programmatic ad, the paid social ad. And we actually work out how people are responding, what they're opening, how much they're opening. And we can actually run an algorithm to make sure that balance is correct. Obviously, Luke asked, well, how do we introduce new people to the winery? And because we've actually taken their data in and we've modeled the ideal audiences, we can actually use programmatic and paid social media to go and find those audiences and find more people that look exactly like that. Obviously, the question from Andrew was, well, that's great and fine, but we've got some high-end wines. How do we sell more of those high-end wines? And the answer was simple. Luke threw a wobbly and said, can we actually integrate this into social media campaigns, do really things that are complex? And we said, absolutely. And we can do this because our platform continually tracks the user journey, and we can actually understand how to improve that behavior on an ongoing basis. We have no single direct competitor, which is weird because there's no level of artificial intelligence in this audience. Rather, what we do allow businesses do is to use numerous platforms previously and bring it together as one. What do I mean?
1 minute to
Hello?
go. 1 minute to go, Grant.
Stop? Okay, fine. So there's businesses like Trolley that do the e-com sale. There are companies like MailChimp that we're pushing out EDMs. There are organizations like eBay that are big marketplaces that can go to, but you're not allowed to keep the data. You aren't allowed to hold it. You aren't allowed to use it. You don't get it back afterwards. And there's things like WineMate, which we actually created, which is an amazing e-com platform. But it acts independently and not as a part of a whole full solution.
Hey, guys, we lost sound.
I think we're about to that now.
Our biggest risk, data management. A breach for us would be catastrophic. And to that end, although we don't need to as a business, we are busy and halfway through our ISO 27001 registration, and we know that we'll get there with that in place. Our team is awesome. We have an amazing board of directors. They're not an advisory board, they are a board of directors. They are shareholders, and they are actively involved in our business. But the real magic comes from a management team that is absolutely committed to this business, made up of people that have deep experience in creating these projects and running these programs. Kieran was the person that created that Zomato program I was talking about earlier. So for us, how do we make an impact? How do we want to go? We want to do it by taking our service further, stronger, and more aggressively. So what is the ask? The ask is really simple. We are well funded. We've raised over $500,000. We are funded through all the way until February, March, until we are now actually generating revenue. But what we want to do is we want to accelerate the launch to the rest of Australia, to Melbourne, to Brisbane, to Perth, from March onwards next year. But more importantly for us, it's not necessarily the money, it's the partnerships. We've built our business model on trusted referrals, on people that consumers, that brands trust, to take us to them, to say, if you interact with Borough Markets, you're interacting with an organisation that's actually going to maximise the return for your business and ensure the long-term viability of your company. Thank you.
A very impressive presentation, Grant. Very impressive. What I really liked about that is that reach is beyond wine. You're looking at multiple businesses. And I think one of the things that we also look at, I suppose, with R&D within the wine and tourism sector is also learning from other businesses just within wine itself. So it's going to be very fascinating to watch your journey moving forward and that hockey stick. So
there's a reason for that. There's
Yes.
a reason we've gone across industry. It's because when we build data on consumers,
Yes.
if I can find you in Logic Finance, if I can find you in a retail environment, if I can find you in 4 wineries, it means that my understanding of that audience is dramatically enriched.
Yeah.
And that for us is critical, because that's how we deliver value back to our customers.
Wow. Questions from the judges, please.
I've got one, can't help myself.
That's why you're in the front row,
Yeah, Roberta. So
thank
it's.
you. I was interested in you, and I get it, using existing information that wineries might hold about their clients. I've tried doing that in the past for various types of research, and I've found that, sadly, for most, especially, well, even some quite large and successful wine brands, their customer information is scant at best. So is how dependent in terms of modeling to find that other, more of the same, if you like.
If you don't know what the same is.
If you don't know what the same is, because the information is either bad information, which would send you off in the wrong direction, or it's non-existent. So is that something that you build with the customer to gather the better and higher quality information?
It's a great question.
So can you talk
It's my job, sorry.
Great question, I said.
It is a great question. And
Grant, do you want to talk into the mic?
Yeah. Speak to the mic. So what we found is there are varying degrees of good and bad data across some of the businesses we worked with. We use a tool called Sensing. More than that, we bring data into a data warehouse. We run a refinery service across it. For us, even more scary than shoddy data is data that's going to hard bounce or that's going to cause unsubscribe. So we run it through a specialist service to clean that out. We then take it into Sensing, and Sensing is a platform that was a bunch of IBM guys that broke away and said, we want to just specialize in this. And what we're able to do is bring a consumer across multiple bases into one person where we can create a single identity and the relationships they have in their household, because you're going to be talking one thing to a husband, one thing to a wife. And what we can do is by bringing that data together, all members in our ecosystem benefit from that. But that said, we took on board data for a brewery recently, and it was interesting because they had 3 sources of data. The one source of data was their wholesale data, which is fantastic. Why? Because it's running through a financial platform and it's their business. But their front-end data, their loyalty, their reservation systems, their there was a third database, their POS data for their front of shop was a mess. And what we were able to do is to take that data, those data sets, combine them together, look at where the gaps were, and then started running very simplified campaigns to actually fill the holes in those data sets. So we knew it was coming. And it's why when I said right up front, the most important thing that we've done is not built AI engines. Our real challenge was how do you bring multiple data sets in from various sources? When you are Maya or you are Dan Murphy's, your data set is pretty much defined by your CTO and it's got a track for the last 5 years. We've actually gone out of our way to build a model that actually allows us to bring really disparate data sets together and to find ways of restoring and strengthening them. But so absolutely.
So what's your biggest challenge?
Our biggest challenge initially was getting that system.
What's your biggest challenge now?
Our biggest challenge now.
It sounds like you've got a fantastic product, great team, etc. But that 500,000, for example, it sounds like I'm thinking in the back of my head, why wouldn't your current investors, I think there's a good group of them there, just chip in another 50 to 100 grand each because they can see the success you've already had and go, here it is.
Well, to be honest with you, we are having that meeting on Monday. Okay. There has been, it's been quite a positive day today for us, with the investors agreeing, the current investors saying we actually don't want to dilute too much further, and maybe we can structure a process. But this presentation was written yesterday, not before my board meeting this morning. But yes, my biggest challenge is getting our business development team up and running at the rate we have. We've gone from 0 to 6 people in the space of 3 weeks. We will be 10 by the end of this month. And it's finding people that have the passion for our business, that is the same as ours, people that align to our values, and people that are absolutely will never give up and will never, ever back off. And that's, for me, it's a human question and a people question rather than a money question or a technology question.
Thank you very much, Grant. Good luck in the competition.
Thank you. Guys, thank you very much. I just like to say one last thing. A special thanks to those 2 people on the left-hand side there. If you had seen my first hit, it was horrific. I think Carla collapsed on the floor laughing and Darren ran out the room. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Super. Thank you. Yep. Excellent. Listen, we're going to push on through. I'm conscious of the time and making certain that we finish on time, particularly with the people that are phoning in and connecting through. So I am loving on the screen seeing, I don't know if you've seen on the screen, all the different dogs that are coming up. I think I saw Biddy with a beagle. I don't know what Josh's breed of dog is, but I tell you, it's a big dog. It's a lovely dog, hey? So and also the glasses of wine, enjoying the celebration of the pictures. So it's really, really good. So listen, we have 2 more pictures to go, and we'll smash through, and then we can get through this. So next up on the program, next up on the program, we have Natalie from eBottilie giving her presentation. Natalie has a fun fact with her. There would have been an interesting discussion with your 9-year-old daughter at home last night. She had to give a pitch at school today, and so you're giving a pitch here today. So I'm just wondering if your daughter's pitch is recorded as well, so then you can compare notes when you get home tonight. So Natalie, please, you have the floor for 10 minutes for your pitch. Yeah, please.
Thank you so much. So thank you to have me today with the FOMENT Accelerator program. So my name is Natalie. I am the founder and CEO of eBottilie, and we allow wine producers to simplify the supply chain management. So I am French, as you can hear my accent. I come from the Burgundy region. We produce Pinot Noir and Chablis, and we are small producers. I came 2 years ago in Australia. I was made redundant with 500 other employees from Nestlé. And it was the opportunity for me to create my own company and not to be in a big company. Also because my passion is in wine, my family is winemakers. So I took my 3 children with me and my husband, and we moved to Australia for them to open their mind to an international country and Australia. And for me to test new technologies because here in Australia it's like a big startup hub, technology hub, less traditional than in France. So I arrived in Australia. I see a lot of wineries that are small size, small family-owned businesses, And they use 31% with manual tracking for inventory and production. They have a lot of many manual tasks that are time consuming, and they don't have a mobile efficient solution to optimize the processes. So our solution, if you can click on the next slide. Thank you. So yes, the first problem that I identify in a grower place in McLaren Vale, he used a lot of papers. For example, for the pruning, each here, he cannot compare between the different years, the different techniques. And also for the spray, so he has to report to Treasury Wine all the spray during 1 year, and also with different providers. So there is no traceability. It's only with papers, time consuming, and it's something that I identify. The second problem is the next step. So we saw a big warehouse where they have 3 hours per day to manage the inventory. They don't have software because they don't have the budget for that. So it's very time consuming. And the last problem was in a warehouse with a lot of barrels. They have some stickers on them, so they lose barrels. And the average of the barrels, the weight, is around 300 kilos. So you cannot lose barrel in a warehouse. So it's why we come with our solution. So we use Internet of Things to save time and money. So to manage, to trace, to register the variability in activities, stocks and inventories, but also to synchronize and align all the participants in the supply chain, and it's very important. And also to eliminate waste with double endings, because we saw in a warehouse a lot of stocks with lifetime where they go to bin. Next slide. So our product, we provide a user-friendly mobile platform because vineyards are already outside and not in front of the computer. So it's important that it's a mobile platform to manage in a simple way, because most of wineries have 50 years old, so they don't want to be with some computers. And it's to, in a simple way, have the wine supply chain from vineyard to consumer. So what are the benefits? We saw, for example, during the transport, a container with champagne with the temperature minus 14, so they lose all the champagne inside the containers. If we put some geo-trackers with temperature sensors, we can track and trace all the transport, and it's something that you can anticipate and not wait with the final step when the boat arrives to the port. The second example is with this warehouse, we can save a lot of time per month, and also to eliminate manual labors. This man, for example, had to work every weekends. He couldn't delegate to other people because he had to be there to manage a warehouse. The third example was also to minimize the handling risk, because when you move some barrels in a warehouse, there is a lot of risk. When you have different levels of warehouse, sometimes it's 6 meters high, so it's something that it's complicated when you have to change the place of the barrels. You can, in an easy way, do that. What is the impact? It's to simplify complex and disconnected supply chains, to keep compliance and safety standards high, and to ensure sustainability and management practices. So in Australia, we have 2,500 wineries, but all around the world, we have more than 300,000 wineries. And for example, in US, you have 79% with small wineries. So our business model is a monthly subscription. Our starting price is $50, so it's not a huge expensive solution. And we have a margin per IoT. About the scalability, we are running some pilot programs in McLaren Vale in different wineries. And in France, we work with oak providers, with the French oaks, and different wineries. We also have partnerships with other startups who have already different stage in the supply chain. So our roadmap is to start with Australia, to have strong relationship with our customers. We have already some very good feedbacks, and we would like after to move to Europe and in the final step in 5 years in US. About the competition, why we are different. So we can see on the market some general software like Excel that are not adapted for the needs, some SAP software that are very complex and expensive, 10 pounds comparing with us, more expensive. And we have some software in wine management. As you can see with 3 examples, the supply chain is disconnected. It doesn't cover all the supply chain. There is no IoT, no blockchain and AI. Why we have a unique value proposition? For example, we can see some people who don't want to move to blockchain. It's not a problem. We can implement it in the future, in 2 years, for example, and they don't have to restart at the 0 point. It's something that is flexible with agnostic solution, like with Lego blocks. It's long term. For example, if people would like to keep wine 50 years, they have to find the best solution with IoT, with Internet of Things, and not choose a lifetime of IoT around or less than 20 years. It's a solution that is mobile, so the vineyard can be outside everywhere with one interface, because vineyards can sometimes in her journey use 3 different softwares, programs. And why we are different, it's with this geolocation in real time. You can track where you are in all your day. So who we are in the teams. I have an executive MBA and a PhD in biochemistry. I worked 15 years in scientific research and in Nestlé. And I am in the board in WISA, in the board of the French-Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I launched recently the French Tech Australia, that is a French label recognized by the French government. And my CTO, he worked 14 years in cloud, and especially in luxury brands like Porsche, Rolls-Royce, and Ferrari. So we combine the 2 skills to create eBotley. In her, the advisors work in Accolade, Pernod Ricard, and LVMH. So the risk we saw in, to summarize, the bushfire, the COVID-19 this year. So we would like to secure in the worldwide market and to extend technologies in food. So we are raising $350,000 to secure the teams with the product development with the version 2, and to have on board 50 customers. And we would like to have some introduction to key decision-making winemakers in the wine industry. So thank you very much for your attention.
Wonderful, Natalie. Sorry for the pause at the start. So round 2, you got double value for the first half. How does that sound?
Thank you.
Questions from the judges, please.
So, well done on taking on some feedback from yesterday's session, advisory board session, which I was in on. Looking at some of those opportunities and benefits. So, for example, saving time on the tracking the barrels. What does the actual ROI look like in terms of my investment versus the time I'm saving? Is it a 50% return on the investment, a 30%? Is it where do you see those advantages in the investment the winery makes, and compared to the time savings? It's probably difficult to put down the risk mitigation and stuff for moving barrels around and those things. But is it how compelling is it for wineries to make that investment?
So for the example of during the transport, I estimate around 50% of return of investment, because when the boat is blocked in a port, so you can react in real time and just call the port, see what happened, So when the boat stay, for example, in Dubai, 20 hours with 50 degrees, so it doesn't lose all the bottle inside the containers. So I think the return of investment is very important, and we can prove that, yes.
Any other questions from the judges? No, all good. You got off scot clean. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Natalie, and good luck.
Thank you much.
Okay, I'll
Follow the instructions, yeah.
Okay, so we're into the final presentation, and we're going from a French lady to a French man, Alexandre. Good morning, Alexandre.
Good morning.
How are you? So it must be time for a double espresso and a croissant where you are.
It's the morning right now.
Very good. Very. What time is it in France at the moment?
Like it's 7:30.
Okay, so it's okay. You don't get an extra point for the time zone prize. If it was earlier, I would have said yes. Alexandre, you're from RGX Systems. You have 10 minutes for your pitch.
Okay.
I will put a timer on at 9 minutes and let you know when there's 1 minute to go. Okay?
Okay, great.
Perfect. Over to you, Alexandre.
Thank you very much. I will share my screen. So do you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's start. So hello everybody, my name is Alex. I'm working for the French company RGX, and basically I will present to you our solution, which is called Agrio. So to start with the problem, I don't know if you know, but almost half of the vineyards worldwide is contaminated by diverse pathologies, diseases, pests. So how does it reflect to the Australian market? Today, as you may know, vine biosecurity in Australia is at a critical stage. And if I have to name only a few diseases that are dangerous for Australia, you have the grapevine trunk diseases, grapevine leaf fall viruses, the phylloxera, and the danger of the bacteria Xylella fastidiosa. So mainly it could have an enormous impact on the Australian wine industry, and so this is why we would like to introduce you our solution. At the origins of our product, we were asked by a French wine grower in south of France to help him fight against a very destructive disease in France, which is called the flavescence dorée. And so we created the company like 2 years ago when he asked us to work on this disease. So basically, what we are doing is that we are automatizing the process of grape diseases detection by mounting smart cameras on agricultural machines. We work on a business case, which is a disease which you don't have in Australia, but which is very destructive here in Europe, which is called the flavescence dorée. So basically, it's a bacteria who is then transported by an insect. So it's incurable. It's like 1 million hectares in Europe. Very destructive, big economic losses, a lot of constraints, and a compromised reputation for the wine grower. So today he has two solutions. One is the visual monitoring solution, which is what almost everybody is doing, but it's very complex to put in place. It's very time consuming. It's very expensive and costly. It's non-exhaustive. For instance, in France, only 20% of the wine is monitored. So because there is a lack of money and a lack of time. Since 4 or 5 years, there were some other solutions, mainly mounted on drones. But we saw, and the growers are seeing this. Even if drones are very efficient for a lot of parameters, they are not so good at diseases of the vineyard. So, for instance, here with this, with our business case, the detection rate is very small. You cannot fly when it's raining, or you cannot fly during the night. There is regulation issues, and basically we think that it's unsuitable for wine diseases detection. So what are the benefits for the wine growers of an automated detection? So basically we are giving a map at the end of the result is the map, as you can see here, and there are quite a lot of benefits. One of them, of course, is the exhaustive and the reliable diagnosis. We can repeat this monitoring all the season. So basically, I think there are like 30 mechanized works during the season. So we can put the camera during the season. What the growers asked us, and it was really at the starting point of our strategy, is to don't have external constraints. So basically we put the camera, the guy is recording, at the end he stopped, we restitute the results, and we don't interfere in his process. So we work by night because we are using a special technology. We can work multi-pathologies and work on pests, on nutrition problems. We are working on early detection of disease, and at the end we are decreasing the operating cost and the use of pesticides. So how we do that? So the technology is in three parts. So we use spectral imaging. So it's optics, which you've been already introduced, and I'm sure you know, you are quite aware of that technology. So we can see physiological changes of the plants. Then, because we acquire a lot of data, we use artificial intelligence to classify all the data. And at the end, as I told you, we restitute, we give a map, crop by crop, of the sanitary status of the land. So we have a very tremendous team to do that. So Boyan is the CEO. He's my brother, actually, and we know each other like since 40 years now. And so he's the engineering guy. He's the guy who really started the company. He saw an inflection in the markets about the decreasing of the size and the price of the cameras. And I joined him like 2 years ago. And basically we are doing this because mainly we are deeply concerned about, you know, one of the big challenges that is facing humanity, according to us, is like the agriculture, how we will feed 10 billion people by 2050. So we are really concerned about that. So we are in the hiring process. We have engineers working with us. We have technical advisors, mainly from the Spectral Imaging Research Institute. So the market and the strategy. So basically, there is a huge amount of money which is linked to the world market agriculture as far as all the solutions for crop monitoring, soil analysis, and phytosanitary diagnosis is concerned. But I mean, our strategy was to specialize and to specialize on the viticulture markets, because there are already a lot of big players who are working on the field, the crops, and like US companies. There is a high added value per hectare of the vineyard. There is, of course, a big pesticides issue. I mean, in France, for instance, it's a very big issue. As I told at the beginning, almost half of the vineyard is contaminated, and there are huge economic losses. And from here, we specialized a second time, let's say, because, as I said earlier, drones are very good to NDVI indexes or leaf roll areas, so a lot of parameters, but we think that we have a unique solution as far as diseases are concerned. So we specialized in the like in niche markets of the diseases, and we aim to capture a big part of the market in less than 10 years, because we think we have the unique solution. In a few words, the competitive advantage that we got. So we asked wine growers to benchmark our solution with all the two solutions that I talked before. So our blue curve is our solution. That there is 8 parameters. So the current monitoring method is very good as far as detection rate is concerned, but it's not working. It's bad rating on other parameters. Other solutions like in drone, so perhaps you know company VineView, they are good of the like speed, objectivity, and so on. But the detection rate of disease is not so good. So basically, we accumulated all the good advantages of the two solutions to build our solution Agrio. And basically, what nobody has is the plug and play parameter. So as I said, we don't interfere in the process of the growers, and we are doing that thanks to multispectral imaging. So and proximal sensing, because we are mounting the cameras on the machines. So we have a lot of wine growers and representatives of the wine industry who supported us. We have a list of prospects which is waiting for the solutions to be complete. Our forecast. So basically, our strategy is the strategy is to the growth strategy is based on a SaaS model, so a subscription business model. So we sell the hardware in one shot, and then there is a subscription for the results for the results. So we think we could break even in April 2023, and the main risk that we have is like running out of cash, because we are deep tech company, so we need some cash in order to launch the product next year. So just our dynamics. So we created 2 years ago. We did two acquisitions campaign in 2018 and 19. We need 700,000 euros to develop the solution, to have a better ready prototype next year. And now, I mean, we are finalizing our results of these acquisitions to have a product which is okay, 100% reliability next year, and to product launch and to launch the product in November 2021. So there is a big technological roadmap. We have engineers working on different issues, and for instance, now this year we started with the white grape wine, which we were focused only on red. And we have partners who are helping us to do that. So mainly it's French financial partners or incubators and so on. So what we are looking for in Australia, so first seed money, of course, because we are a deep tech company, we need to finalize our product, and we are pre-revenue, so we don't get sales now. We are looking for South Australian R&D partners, specialized in viticulture, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotics. And we are looking for potential customers in Australia, South Australia, to trial Agrio as far as the borders are open. So this is my pitch. I will wait, Darren. The day one that your border will be open, I'm waiting that Darren should wait me at the airport to come in Australia. Thank you very much.
Alexandre, a wonderful presentation. My colleagues that I report to are also in France, and I think the day that the borders open in France is the day that I'll be going over there. So we'll be crossing paths somewhere in Dubai on the way through. So listen, questions from the judges for the final presentation. Paul.
Yes, I have a question. So I think you've identified the market opportunity very, very well. Can you hear me okay?
I'm hearing like a...
Okay.
Yeah, Jason can repeat it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I think you've identified the market opportunity. But how are you going to source the calibration data? So it's a very specialised area, doing the pathology of disease, and you need somebody to do the pathology of disease to then build the models from. So who are you partnering with to do the ground truth pathology?
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing very well.
Who are you working with to build the pathology data, to the calibration of the data that you're analysing?
Okay. So basically, I mean, our main added value is not so much on the hardware, but much on the software and the algorithms. So basically, we work with main researchers in France specialized in spectral imaging. So the main and so how we calibrate the data, it's algorithm issues. It's like writing in Python, C++, and so on. So when we start, we look on all the academical and research publications on the topic and on our business case. They are not so much, but basically, we tried all the algorithms and the data they were working on, and we saw that it's not working so much. So we start from scratch building our own algorithms, and basically how to say that when we acquired the data with the optics, then we I mean, the main challenges for us is to have some kind of universal solution, depending on which cepage, which grapes you are working on, the weather conditions, the dust and everything, to have a universal solution. So basically, the algorithms, and this is why you have artificial intelligence in order to let's say universalize the algorithms. The main challenge and the main topic for us is to work on the algorithms. So the calibration is.
Alexandre, I might just
Phrase the question. Your question, Paul, was more relating to the raw data and the accuracy of the raw data.
Who's providing field data?
Okay, who's providing the field data is the question. So we understand, I suppose, the algorithms, but it's the starting point of the data is where you're coming from, Paul. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So who's providing the starting point of the data?
Who is providing the data?
The raw data.
Raw data.
The world data as far as the market is concerned?
The disease data.
The disease data. Okay. Yes. So basically, I mean, we have compiled a lot of different sources. So we have the International Organization of Wine, which, for instance, is saying that 20% of vineyards, worldwide vineyards, is contaminated by grape wine tongue diseases. I mean, I can give you the source. We have a report from the French Assembly about, the economical cost. We have different reports from different industries and growers associations who, I mean, we combine all the data and we came up with this market.
Excellent.
Any other questions?
Peter? Quick one, Alex, if I could. It's Peter. We spoke yesterday.
Yeah, hello.
My question is, in terms of local calibration to Australia, to US, to north of France, whatever, who are your local specialists and service providers to take you from your remote service delivery to validate in the field?
Okay, so when we are working on a very regulated disease, which is a maladie de quarantaine, so it's a quarantine disease. So when we are doing our acquisition, we ask always to have like 20-30% of the experts who are doing the visual inspection to give us the geolocalization of the grapes which are contaminated, so we can cross-check our data with theirs. So this is how we are building our detection rate, and basically we are working with the state, I mean the French state, to work on some kind of stamp or homologation of our solution. So basically we are working with the experts that one day we will perhaps I mean, we are automatizing the process, so perhaps one day they will be not here because or thanks to us, but we are working with them. So we cross-check our results with the results of the experts, and basically, when they are checking the crops, then we have a PCR analysis in biological laboratory, so we can cross-check our results, our algorithms with their findings. So basically, we are building up a really strong protocol because it's a quarantine disease. So we have to be very like the pharma industry. You have to be very clean on the solution.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Alexandre. That comes to the conclusion of the 11 pitches. Now we have the difficult job. Judges, you have the job of collating your information together, and we have the people's choice that we have to go through. So I'm going to remind those that are online and maybe also in the room virtually, we can log these votes online at the website slido.com. So that's slido.com. And the event code is #FOMENT2020. I'm told that on the screen there's going to be a QR code that will pop up that might make it easier for those that are online. And then you can click the link and there should be a function there to vote for your favourite pitch. In terms of the collation of the votes for the judges, we have 2 judges that are working via Zoom. Maybe if you could send your summary notes to Carla or Darren on the note. Okay, so the judges are going to go to a separate room to do their collation of votes. So listen, we'll leave the judges to grab their notes and paperwork in front of them. They'll go to the separate room. We will join back in... Dun, dun, dun. We'll join back in about 5 minutes' time after the judges have concluded. But those that are working remotely, please go back to slido.com and #FOMENT2020. And when the judges come back, we will collate all of the information and announce the winners. Yeah. Oh, very exciting. Very exciting. Hope everyone's got a glass of wine at hand. I've got the winner's trophy ready to go. Right. Annabelle, please take us out of the suspense on who is the winner of the 2020 final pitch competition, please.
So after a really rapid fire judging process, and congratulations once again to everyone, there were 3 businesses that were at the top. And in fact, it was only separated, the top business was only separated by 2 points from the 3rd business. So it was very close. The winning business is Air Guides.
Wow!
Bibi.
And I'll just give the reasons why. We felt that Air Guides had a very simple business model, but it's very difficult to replicate, mainly through the uniqueness of your storytellers. So that gave you a sustainable competitive advantage. It's also using storytellers is on trend at the moment, it lends into itself around travellers want reassurance from local people, and so it helps them connect emotionally with their travel even before they start. And also you need to be congratulated because you're doing a lot with very little. So excellent pitch, and congratulations to you, and all the best for the future, and all the best for the future for everyone in FOMENT.
Wonderful. Annabelle and judges, I must thank you for your contribution on putting that through. I would say as an MC, one of the things I found quite interesting in the pitch from Air Guides was their excitement in the COVID world. It wasn't like, here's COVID and we're dealing with travel. It was actually, here's COVID and we have options, and we see excitement on coming through here. So Bibi, Paul, do you have anything to share to the community of FOMENT 2020?
Or the Beagle, should I ask?
I'm completely flabbergasted. Thank you all so much to the judges and the amazing FOMENT team. We're based in Melbourne, so this was definitely not the easiest period for us. So being part of FOMENT was amazing. So I want to thank also the cohort. You guys are all amazing, and I can't see your progress. I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in person soon. And thank you so much to Carla, Darren, Kelly, and Charlotte, and the rest of the FOMENT team. It was truly an honor to be part of this program, and I can't wait to stay part of the alumni. So maybe Paul has something to add.
The only thing I just wanted to add is what we love about the tourism industry is it's very collaborative and everybody supports everyone. And we were hoping moving into the food and wine industry that we would have the same experience. And we've been blown away by the support of the advisor panel and everybody who's reached out to us. It's really been incredible. And yeah, we're ready to go with some trips in South Australia, which is more than we could have hoped for South Australia. So thank you, everyone. We really appreciate it.
We really look forward to following your journey in the years to come, and seeing where we can take Air Guides in the wine tech and tourism side, and how it can help us all. So well done and congratulations, and a big round of applause to Air Guides. And Paul, you can now get a haircut, I've been informed. So $75, I'm not certain if that's the going rate or whether I got stitched up there, Josh. So, but anyway. So now I have the honour to present the People's Choice.
So I guess it's been a crazy journey, and thanks to everyone involved, Hydro Consulting, Flinders University, WISA, outstanding event today, and to see how far you all have come from the beginning where we started the program on October the 6th, now to see how you developed your pitches and how you just develop as people and the community around FOMENT. It's really rewarding, and I'm not gonna cry because we are a bit tired, but I think it's up to me and Darren, if you could come to the stage as well, to announce the winner of the People's Choice. It was pretty tight, and I think we're all really proud to also see one of South Australian companies being rewarded in this whole journey. So congratulations, Borough Markets, for being awarded the People's Choice Award. And there you go, congratulations, Grant.
You got to do that in COVID days.
And can you bring the prizes?
Well done.
That would be really good. I don't know if you want to say some words.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, you too, obviously. After.
We didn't run an algorithm.
No, say more, please.
It's been amazing. It's been an amazing experience going through the FOMENT program. We came into it with a very single-minded intent in mind of looking at business development, and we've come out of it having just learned a huge amount around how to position ourselves, our business, how to pitch ourselves, how to understand the industry. It's been truly humbling. And Darren and Carla, you guys are amazing. You seriously are. You've done a fantastic job. I've been the most difficult participant this year by a long way. And you've put up with all my rubbish and launch and everything else. And thank you so much. I just can't tell you how grateful I am. And I think I speak for all of the contestants, all of the participants. I'm a South African. No, but I think I speak for all the participants this year when I say that it's been truly amazing under really trying and difficult conditions, and you've pulled off something quite unbelievable. Maybe it's time to go global.
I hope you have.
I think we just did.
Hope we just did. I don't know, Darren, do you want to say something? So thank you so much, Grant. You've been an unbelievable supporter for me. And this is the prizes. Do you want to talk the prizes, Darren?
Okay, well,
Yeah, that's 25.
That's 25 hours, by the way.
1.25 hours of mentoring.
The first prize is 25 hours.
And it's, well, yeah, and last prize is it's all from me. So 25 hours of mentoring from the team for both winners. We've got 12 months of memberships with Wiser for air guides. Business profiling via FOMENT and Partners Media channels will be much higher for those two winners. And also a $100 wine voucher from any of the participating wineries in the Barossa. So congratulations. And just while we mentioned the Barossa, and because it's the last time I'll be on camera for this round of FOMENT, and in fact, in terms of our formal programs, this ends our year. In terms of what we do informally, you can join FOMENT, but you can never leave. So there will be plenty to do for the teams as we roll out to the end of the year, and plenty of work that we've still got to do with our sponsors. I really want to acknowledge 4 organisations. The first one is the South Australian Minister for Primary Industries and Regional Development through PIRSA. Without their support and their commitment and their belief in this, it would not have happened in the pilot year, and it would not have happened this year. And there are also 3 fabulous sponsors, Barossa Australia, Wine Australia, and the Entrepreneurs Facilitator Scheme, Barossa, York and Mid-North, which I have stumbled over every time. I apologise to them. Without those 3 sponsors, this simply would not have been possible. Wine Australia have made a huge contribution to the success of the program, the profile of the program. The Barossa region and the Entrepreneurs Facilitator Scheme actually created an immersion in the Barossa that just would not otherwise have been possible. So not only have they given us their financial support, they've given us their spiritual support, and they've given us something that we can offer to participants in FOMENT that we just wouldn't be able to do otherwise. I think the Barossa Week was something really special, and that was something that everybody just got in behind and did. I really also want to acknowledge there are actually about 40 other people who I won't name. The judges in front of us today, we had our boards that reviewed the teams and worked them over. We had our mentors. We had the people who guided the teams outside of that process. We had all of the companies that opened their doors to them from McLaren Vale through to the Barossa Valley. There are so many people from around the world who volunteered their time to help these businesses. We are so grateful. Sorry? Yeah, and of course the Spark Festival, Lot 14, Stone and Chalk, who've also gotten right behind us. We just want to thank you all.
And now it's time to party. What else are we missing?
One more.
Oh, we're going to say goodbye to live. Thank you so much for being here with us through the live stream. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed. We have another winner to announce.
One more.
Yes, who won the photo for Men 2020? Charlotte. Thank you. Oh, Paul, you are the winner of the FOMENT
The best selfie of FOMENT 2020.
And it's a bottle of Tobrek. So congratulations, Paul. You had the best photo through Instagram, WeChat, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So congratulations, Paul. And thanks for all the supporters. We're going to have a drink and network a little bit, but please stay with us on Zoom. And we are saying goodbye to everyone on live stream. Jason, you've done a fantastic job. I'll let you close.
All I will say is that is a wrap. It's been a wonderful experience to be part of, and I was lucky enough to be part of the selection panel at the start to see the start and the finish. It's an amazing job, and
Darren and Carla, thank you very much. It's just wonderful to be part of. Yeah, and a big team, but it starts at the top, and you guys really lead it from the top, and it goes all the way through. Thank you, judges. Thank you, participants. Thank you, everyone that invested their time in their pictures. And that's a wrap. Thank you very much.